The thug is in. What is up, guys? This is Logan, also known as Alex in Pokemon Showdown, and today, this is my absolutely gigantic ADV 1v1 mega video and sets guide. I know I made some videos on this about a year ago, but my opinions have changed a ton. I've done a ton more developing of the tier, some tournaments have happened, so things have come out, and those videos are quite outdated, but I am here to give you just a gigantic sets guide to all the viable Pokemon, I think, in ADV 1v1. This is pretty inspired by BKC's gigantic video on his ADV OU sets guide. This is going to be a video that's pretty similar to that. And yeah, so just some previews and stuff. Yeah, I've developed ADV a ton recently. Has a brand new viability rankings. As you can see here, has totally changed. Lots of cool viable Pokemon. We got some hot sample teams. We got, and most importantly, we have this gigantic sets compendium that I worked on. Tons and tons and tons of sets. Yes, all of these sets, tons in ADV 1v1, and I'm going to be talking about every single one in this video. There'll obviously be timestamps in the description, so if you want to go to a specific Pokemon and see what you might want to use on it. And yeah, another huge disclaimer about this is that this is still a tier that is mainly mine. So don't take everything that I say here as total fact, because once more people start playing this tier and it starts to get developed more and more, new things will come out, because not a single this can't just be a metagame where it's only my ideas. So don't take this as fact, but I would say use it as a really nice guideline for what sets you might want to use and ideas you might have, especially for tournament play, as I do plan for a big tournament to be coming up soon. More details, I'll put details in the description once that happens, but yeah, so let's get to it. Oh, also, I should show some things that are banned, some notable things that are banned. First of all, some notable Pokemon that you might think would be legal. Slacking is banned. Slacking was just way too powerful, way too quick, and forced a lot of Pokemon to run Protect, and it turned it into a very, just a boring metagame. We also have Snorlax is banned. One of the most 1v1, like, potent, like, very, very good at 1v1ing everything, and with counter and absurd bulk. Snorlax is just way too much to handle. And then same goes for Suicune. Some other notable bans are Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder, I actually played in the 1v1 Classic where I got second place when Sleep Powder was legal. Problem with Sleep Powder is that nothing has Choice Scarf in this tier, so Jumpluff could outspeed and sleep everything, including grass types, which made it very, very annoying to beat. Whoa, what the heck did I just do? I did not mean to do that. Yeah, Sleep Powder was way too much, and especially like also other sleep moves like Lovely Kiss on Jinx, way too potent. And then recently, RNG items were banned, such as King's Rock, Bright Powder, Lax Incense, Quick Claw, and Focus Band, but that shouldn't affect much of anything. I would assume you guys know most of the key mechanics of ADV. Gengar has Levitate, but also that you know, there's no physical special split. So all of the current evolutions plus Dragon, those are your special moves. Everything else is physical, including Ghost. And yeah, so let's just start talking about some of these Pokemon. I'm actually recording this after I talked about all the Pokemon, because something was up with my mic when I was talking about Marowak and Registeel. But let's talk about the best Pokemon in ADV, Marowak. It's pretty much because of Registeel, but let's talk about what makes Marowak so good. So, if you guys have seen BKC's recent video on Marowak, on that really cool Marowak plus Hariyama offense, you'll know that Marowak is like stupidly good offensively. But what makes it great in a very 1v1 hyper-focused setting is that it has access to a Choice Band, aka Thick Club, where it doubles its attack, but it also gets to switch moves, which means it can set up Swords Dance to be even more powerful. Now, this is great on itself, and if Marowak only got Earthquake, it would still be a good Pokemon, but what makes this Pokemon insanely good in 1v1 is access to its signature move, Bone Meringue, which hits twice. why that is important is that Substitute is a very, very good move in 1v1 where you can substitute down to a Lychee Berry or a Papaya Berry and get +1 attack or +1 special attack. And because this hits twice, you can break the opponent's Substitute and then hit them, which means this totally nullifies Pokemon like Raikou and, I don't know, like Typhlosion or something. So that's one reason that makes Marowak so good. And not only that, but it just, you know, it's a good typing, ground typing. It's slow, but it hits really hard, and it's relatively bulky, especially when you bulk into HP. It becomes very, very bulky, and it has a lot of moves that it can use at Choice Band power, which is, again, it's very, very important. This is a pretty big set, is the Spadef Marowak set. It maximizes its overall bulk. You know, it already has good physical defense, and what it does is it tanks 2 Blissey Ice Beams so that you can't lose to counter Blissey, and you just Swords Dance twice and Bone Meringue on it. This is a very, very good set. And then the last move is, it's blank for a reason. You have so many options. You can run Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace can actually beat Sceptile with the right plays on Bone Meringue, and Pokemon like Heracross with the right plays on Bone Meringue. I think, you know, Rock Slide is also a classic move. Just hits a lot of stuff in general. And nothing really else to say there. Hidden Power Ghost can help with the Dusclops matchup. Also hits Lunatone. Hidden Power Bug is also a very, very good move for taking down Celebi. Also, I gotta switch this song now. Let's go to this one. Great song. This song, man. Gallery, Not You Again, perfection. Okay, anyway. Yeah, Counter also, like, really threatens a lot of physical attackers, such as, like, a Choice Band Salamence. Now you're a Salamence answer with Counter. You counter Metagross. You do... It's a very, very good Pokemon. Yeah, so this is like a pretty standard set. Pretty self-explanatory, honestly. Next, we got Anti-Heracross. So this is called Anti-Heracross because not only are you a lot more physically bulky for Heracross, but you also don't lose to Sub-Reversal, the Salac Berry set. You will die to a Lychee Berry reversal, but you will not lose to a Salac Berry reversal. And you also beat Banded by just clicking Aerial Ace. And then the last move is also pretty, like, you can do whatever with this last move as well. You can even run Substitute on Marowak. That's another option on Marowak to, like, you could maybe outspeed an Ursaring and sub on it. Lots of different options. Yeah, so this is anti-Heracross, a more physically defensive oriented Heracross with more attack to actually KO most Metagrosses. I'm kind of talking through this fast because I already talked about Marowak, but and as you can see, I already have Belly Drum on here, but this is the 4 attacks Marowak. So one thing with Registeel is you like, Swords Dance is really good for a lot of things, but you technically don't need it for Registeel. You can usually get really, really good rolls by outspeeding it and just 252 plus Bone Meringuing it twice. And it won't kill you with counter because Bone Meringue hits twice. That's another thing that makes Bone Meringue really good, is that it beats one of the best moves in ADV 1v1, which is counter. Because counter will only factor in the first hit of Bone Meringue, its counter is usually not going to kill you on Pokemon like Blissey or I don't know, like a Swampert or something like that. Counter is usually not going to kill you, which is really cool for Marowak. Yeah, and this is just a 4 attacks, just super duper powerful. You could throw Hidden Power Bug on here. You could throw Aerial Ace on here. You can throw maybe even Double Edge plus Rock Slide. You can maybe finesse some Zapdoses. Yeah, so just a really good Pokemon. The reason I had Belly Drum here before is that if you want to be like, because here's the thing, theoretically, you could run into a Registeel like this with Iron Defense and Counter. If you wanted to be 100% super duper ultra safe versus Registeel, you can run Belly Drum into Bone Meringue and win, and you will never lose to Registeel if you want to be that paranoid about Registeel. But usually you'll be fine with running these other things. And yeah. But also in general, like, I think Marowak can also still be explored more. I think one annoying thing that I've been running into room tournaments is stupid max speed Marowak. A lot of sets in my compendium, admittedly, are assuming that Marowak is going to be on the slower side. But if you run a Marowak like this or something, like 252, 252, I guarantee you will surprise a lot of people and a lot of Pokemon. And maybe even something like Toxic Marowak could be used. I think Rock Tomb has a lot of potential to, like, kind of like make use of that you're going to be hitting with a banded Rock Tomb theoretically, and it helps with Marowak's low speed. Problem is that Substitute is common and 80% accuracy is kind of yikes. But yeah. So yeah, that's Marowak for you. Just stupid good Pokemon, and again, it is the best Pokemon because of this monster, the most polarizing Pokemon in ADV 1v1. Personally, I think it should be banned, but I'm not going to ban it yet until I see it used a lot in a tournament. I want to see a very, very big ADV 1v1 tournament and see how it does. But this is Registeel. Registeel is honestly not the best Pokemon in ADVOU, as a lot of ADVOU fans will know. It's absurdly passive. You're usually better off using Skarmory or Fortress, but it does deal consistent damage with Seismic Toss. But what makes it so great in 1v1 is two things. One, it's absurdly bulky. Look at this. 80 HP, 150 defense, 150 SPDF. You invest in that HP, you're going to be stupid bulky. And it has access to Iron Defense and Amnesia, which are... It's very rare that a Pokemon gets both of those moves. And it helps it just tank a lot of threats. You rest up and you hope you don't get crit and you break down with Seismic Toss. That's the idea. I think Leftovers is extremely important, but you can run Chesto Berry if you want to be like less crit prone, I guess. You can boost up Resto Chesto into Seismic Toss and break it down, but I don't usually think that's a good play. And the other thing that makes it annoying is access to Clear Body. It would be cool if you could break down Registeel with moves like Screech or Metal Sound or Leer, but sadly you cannot because of Clear Body, and that is also what makes this Pokemon so good. And it's a Steel type. But again, it is the best Pokemon in ADV, but also the worst at the same time, because versus a lot of Pokemon, you are just a critical hit away from losing, and they have a lot of chances to crit. What helps with that crit is the SPDF counter set, which is, I think, my personal favorite. What this basically does is it, like, says, okay, I'm just going to predict when the Pokemon is banded, and I'm just going to counter, and nothing breaks past this, except, like really, really powerful hits from like a Medicham or Focus Punch Pokemon can beat this set. But yeah, so counter basically just is like, okay, if you're physical, I'm going to counter you. If you set up Dragon Dance, GG, okay. And then it really focuses on SPDF. And what makes Registeel so annoying is that with max SPDF and Amnesia, if your fire types are not specifically oriented to beat Registeel, you're going to lose to this Registeel because it's so bulky. This can beat things like Moltres, Charizard, Houndoom. It's ridiculous. Very, very potent Pokemon with this set. And then a set that is kind of memey, but also kind of cool is the Surprise Band set, which beats a lot of Pokemon that are supposed auto counters to Registeel. So you still run counter on this, right? But then with Superpower, you can beat like Taunt, Dragon Dance, Tyranitar. You can beat Kecleon Clicking Trick, which is a really cool Pokemon that I'll showcase later. You can, of course, go to the timestamps of the chapters and look at that. And you can also do things like Aerial Ace. Let's say a Heracross tries to set up Swords Dance turn 1, hit it with Aerial Ace. You can Hidden Power Ghost like a Gengar or an Alakazam, these anti-stall Pokemon. You can do a lot of cool stuff with the Registeel like that, like a surprise offensive sets. But I think this is where you're going to be most apt to win, I suppose, is these stall sets. Very, very annoying Pokemon. The biggest restrictor on team building, I would say, is you need to have a Registeel answer. And I think the tier could be even better without Registeel, but it is here and we need to deal with it. And now we will go to the part where let's pause this. Now we will go to the part that I recorded a month before I started my job. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the ADV 1v1 Sets Compendium. Back to the defining Pokemon of ADV 1v1, Zapdos, because of its ability Pressure. Oh my gosh, an ad. ADV, haha, okay. What makes Pressure so good in ADV? Well, just Pressure is a good ability in all 1v1 metagames in general, because it causes the Pokemon to lose additional PP when they click an attack. So the idea is, versus like banded Pokemon, what you can do with Leftovers is substitute, protect, and what that does is it allows you to cause the other Pokemon to struggle. Interesting thing though is that in ADV, Struggle is actually not a bad attack. It hits really hard with Banded. So you have to make sure that with this Zapdos, you can like substitute protect, and then you click Thunderbolt, protect for leftovers, Thunderbolt. It's a really weird dynamic that's hard to explain with words, but Zapdos is just a defining Pokemon because of this pressure stall, because of having substitute, leftovers recovery, and pressure. Really, really good. This is the standard set, I would say. Max speed for just maximizing as many things it can sub up on. 192 HP is a pretty common constant on all my Zapdoses. Other people can experiment with other HP spreads, but what that does is it allows you to live at 252 plus 1 Ice Beam from Starmie. Because Sub-Pataya Starmie is a really common set. And then obviously allow you to kill with Thunderbolt. 64 is just for power. Last, Hidden Power Grass I feel like is the best because it allows you to beat 2 really, really good Pokemon. Marowak, you should beat most Marowak unless they are like Rock Slide. I mean, like, they can be Rock Slide counter and I guess outplay you, but it's really difficult because they can miss Rock Slide. If they click counter on the wrong turn, they're done. But Hidden Power Grass allows you to take care of Marowak. Also allows you to take care of Swampert, which is pretty big, as Swampert is just not gonna kill you. I guess unless only with counter, but you can play around counter really well with substitute and protect. Zapdos is just Zapdos. It's really, really good. Another part of what I think makes Zapdos better than Raikou is like a recent kind of shift in opinion is band. This is a nasty band set. I love band. Zapdos is really, really cool. It mixes up a lot of things that can beat Zapdos, such as like Sceptile, Kecleon. If you go max attack with Hidden Power Fighting, you can KO a lot of Tyranitars or get really good rolls on Tyranitar, which is like the biggest Zapdos answer there is. Drill Peck secures Heracross, and you still get the power of Thunderbolt to beat some matchups that you want. So with this spread, 192 HP, obviously Starmie, and even with an Adamant Nature, 36 minus special attack will KO Starmie. And yeah, and also still beat Vaporeon, I would think. As for the last move on this set, I mean, this is just pretty self-explanatory. The main 3 moves that you're going to want, like, pretty much all the time are Drill Peck, Hidden Power Fighting, and Thunderbolt. You can, I guess, run a lot more speed on Banded Zapdos and take out of attack and drop Hidden Power Fighting, and you could do something like Drill Peck, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Grass, so you still keep that Grass matchup, because I don't think a lot of Marowaks will be trying to counter turn 1 anyway. I think they're going to predict substitute most of the time. And yeah, you really can mix and match Band Zapdos. I put Double Edge as the last option usually because it actually can allow you to finesse Jolteon, which is a really, really good Zapdos answer. So Band Zapdos, pretty straightforward. It's the biggest mix-up to Pressure Stall. This is a Pataya set that PQS made. Idea is that a lot of Pokemon might be trying to bulk for a powerful Zapdos Thunderbolt, but they might not be bulked enough to handle like a +1 modest Thunder and just really, really nail stuff, and even nail stuff like Salamence with HP Ice. You can. This is just an idea, a general idea. You can do a lot with Zapdos. This is an interesting set that I created. Exact same spread as the first one, except with Metal Sound, you can handle a very, very good Zapdos answer in Dusclops. And you can beat a Blissey lacking Seismic Toss if it's counter Blissey. And then Thunderbolt or Hidden Power Grass. Not running Thunderbolt is kind of weird on Zapdos, I will say, but you can still beat the Blissey with Hidden Power Grass, which is funny, because you can substitute and protect on its Ice Beams. And then another thing that this hasn't been tested as much, but the thought of it is very, very scary. Is Rest Zapdos to really, really maximize its pressure stalling abilities. It's still hoping to not get crit by struggle, but it is a nasty idea. Because a lot of Pokemon, as you'll see later on, what they'll do is they'll run a move called Return, which is 32 power points, which actually goes through all of Zapdos substitute plus protects until the end. And I'll show a replay to kind of explain that better, I guess. But Banded Return can go through all the substitute protects. But what this Zapdos can do is it can click Rest. It can get, first of all, it has to get a double. Honestly, I'll just explain this another time. It's a little bit complicated, but I'll explain it later on. And then also, what you can do is, I guess you can run T-Wave on Zapdos if you want to be really, really annoying. This is a set that PQS made. I'm not exactly sure what it does. I think this is supposed to tank anything from Aerodactyl. And the idea is to just Thunder Wave, set up a sub, hit things with T-Bolt. I think Leftovers could make sense on a set like this. Yeah, that's kind of all of like Zapdos's main options. I mean, you can maybe run Agility for something. I don't really know. I mean, like, I think Zapdos is pretty straightforward in that regard. Maybe Charge could do something. I don't know. Actually, no, Charge doesn't even raise your SPDF in this generation, I don't think. Pretty sure it doesn't, right? Yeah, no, it doesn't. It just causes your next electric attack to have 3 more power, or double the power, and you might as well have just clicked a electric attack twice. Yeah, hopefully that kind of covered Zapdos. Like, you kind of see it in action more to realize just how good it is and how hard it is to check reliably. Oh my gosh. Next. So yeah. Moving on, we have. So those were the 3 S rank Pokemon. This is the first A+ rank Pokemon, and maybe one of my favorites. It's like it's a very defining Pokemon in ADV because of like all of the sets you can run with it. And this isn't even all of the ones. I could probably think of more, but it's so cool. So first set that is my favorite, I think is the best, but again, like, you got to remember that not a lot of people play this metagame, so the best isn't really like figured out yet, I guess. This is Bulky Band Salamence. Salamence is great in ADVOU with its band set as well. What this tries to do is it's just a stupid fast Pokemon with Intimidate to beat a lot of physical attackers, and you got to remember that ADV is extremely physically based because of it only having Choice Band and not Choice Specs. So this is just really good in general. Powerful Hidden Power Flying, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Brick Break. What these EVs do is it basically allows you to live anything from Banded Metagross with the HP and the defense, and also just a lot of hits in general, a lot of like powerful normal type attacks. It just allows you to live a lot, trust me. Pretty straightforward. This is my sub Dragon Dance set. What this set tries to do is it's basically like any Salamence that is not choiced is anti-counter, because a lot of Pokemon will try to bulk anything from Salamence, not just this set, but Adamant Salamence, and click counter, and that's their win con. But if you just get Dragon Danced on, it's over. Like, this set would beat that counter Registeel because you just set up Dragon Dance, and Earthquake. And what Substitute allows you to do is allows you to really, really outplay those counter Pokemon. And what it also allows you to do is it allows you to beat a lot of faster Pokemon that try to click Substitute into an Ice move, such as like Alakazam, Raikou, even Zapdos before with Hidden Power Ice. It allows you to outplay those certain threats. And Earthquake is just really nice to hit, Raikou, and it's just, flying Earthquake coverage is just really nasty. But you can totally mix and match Salamence and like run different hidden powers, different moves. You can do so many things on Dragon Dance. Like, this is my anti-Registeel Dragon Dance set, which is really cool. This drops the SPDF because without Substitute, you're very unreliable versus faster Pokemon with an Ice type attack like Sceptile, because they can just keep spamming sub as you keep Dragon Dancing, and if they hit you once while they're behind a sub, it would be better to visualize it. I think I'll just try to visualize it. I'll show a video to visualize it. Yeah. Anyway, what this set does is you basically just keep setting up Dragon Dances on Registeel, and then if it doesn't have counter, you can just keep clicking Earthquake, and then when it brings you down with Seismic Toss, you can just rest yourself, and this should beat any Registeel. Unless it's Iron Defense counter, which is scary, but yeah. This is offensive band, just like the ADVOU Salamence, Adamant Banded, just hit as hard as possible. I still think this is a phenomenal set. And what's really cool is that Rock Slide is obviously a really great option for other Salamence, but what I think is really nasty is you can run things like, you can run Iron Tail, and you can actually KO some Regice, which is really funny. You can run Hyper Beam, and I forgot what Hyper Beam specifically did, but like it could KO some random stuff. And like, again, even on something like this, you could drop, like, this is a really cool idea. You could drop Hidden Power Flying, right? You could run Fly, which is annoying because I believe you would lose to something like a you would probably lose to something like substitute Heracross that, you know, just subs on the fly. But you could throw Fly, and then because you have Fly, you can slap on something like Hidden Power Grass and nail Swampert. You could slap on Hidden Power Ice and really try to nail other Salamence. Hydro Pump, maybe. I don't know. You could do so many things with Salamence. It's extremely scary. This is just a baseline. This is a Boat's offensive Dragon Dance set. I don't really remember what this does. I think it's anti-Tyranitar, and he didn't feel like he needed leftovers. Like, yeah, you could just run Lychee Berry, and like once you get down, broken down, you can hit even harder with like +2 or +3 attacks. Yeah, so you kind of get the gist of Salamence. This is a cool set that I came up with, which I think is sick. Resto Chesto Iron Defense Salamence. The idea, what made this set come about is I was like, man, I want something to beat physical attackers, but also beat Salamence at the same time. And I was like, okay, so Salamence is really good versus physical attackers. How do I make a Salamence that just stomps other Salamence? And I was like, yo, it gets Iron Defense because its pre-evolution is Shelgon. Iron Defense, Resto Chesto. You could maybe run Wish, I guess, but I don't think that's the idea. I think the idea is you are faster than most Pokemon, right? And when you set up Iron Defense plus Intimidate, you are at like a 3-stage advantage. And then you just Iron Defense again, you click Rest, and then you just break them down with powerful specialist stabs and Dragon Claw and Fire Blast, which, remember, Dragon Claw is only resisted by Steel types. And yeah, so that's just the reason you could do Dragon Claw. You could totally make this into like, you could totally run physical moves on this potentially, and I guess you could go leftovers, but I don't know. I feel like when you're setting up Iron Defense and then you rest, I don't want to just be crit bait. I'd rather just Iron Defense, Resto Chesto, and then break them down like I should be doing. That's just my opinion, though. You can totally do different things like that. And then lastly, just to give people an idea, you could totally run something like a Special Mence or like what they would call like Mixed Mence and ADV OU. This has Charcoal and Fire Blast with 252 plus, so that you can actually 2-hit KO Registeel when they most likely click either Counter or Iron Defense turn 1. So it's a huge Registeel mix-up. You could totally forego Charcoal if you don't really care about that as much and run something like, I don't know. You can do so many different things. Like, you guys can come up with the ideas. Hydro Pump is really nasty for like killing or like doing really good to like some Marowaks, because you can't really hit it that hard. I don't know if Hidden Power Grass 2-hit KOs Spadef Whack. I feel like it doesn't. But yeah, Hydro Pump can just hit random stuff. Mence is so versatile, so powerful with all the different things it can do. And yeah, keep exploring and use Salamence. It's a good Pokemon. Oh my gosh, another ad. Oh my god. Okay. Next we have Metagross. BKC also did a video on why Salamence plus Metagross is good. These two are what I consider, these two are like the titans of like ADV versatility and just being really, really good Pokemon. I think the most common calced for move in ADV 1v1 is a 252 plus Banded Meteor Mash from Metagross. If you are a quirky Pokemon that learns Counter and can live anything from Metagross, congratulations, you're probably viable. Like, if you can do that, you're fine. Pretty straightforward. I don't need to explain why a 135 base attack banded Metagross that can't be intimidated and just hits super hard, decently fast. Yeah, Meteor Mash I think is the required move. Dynamic Punch is a cool tech that I came up with when Counter Blissey was being spammed. The idea behind Dynamic Punch is it doesn't matter if you miss like 3 times, you just need to hit Blissey once and you win. It is extremely, extremely reliable versus Blissey. Some other cool things that Dynamic Punch can do is, like, let's say there is a quirky normal type Pokemon that is trying to bulk for you and click Counter on you. Let's say like a Miltank, Ursaring, Wigglytuff, I don't know. You can just Dynamic Punch it and they should die. Yeah, so that's the idea behind Dynamic Punch. You can also run Shadow Ball is really nasty to beat Dusclops that aren't running Counter. Also stomps like does really, really well versus Barrier Alakazam. Obliterates Gengar. It's just a great coverage move in general. Sludge Bomb is really, really nice because what Sludge Bomb allows you to do is it allows you to be like just a pretty much a guaranteed answer to Sceptile they can't like click Leech Seed, tank a Meteor Mash, and then start Leech Stalling you. Sludge Bomb is going to kill them, and that's literally all that Sludge Bomb is for. I can't really think of anything else that Sludge Bomb hits. I mean, I guess like Meganium, but I think Meganium can bulk for that. I don't know. Then obviously, like, you know, Earthquake. Earthquake is Earthquake. It's good because it's Earthquake. Rock Slide is Rock Slide. It's good because it's Rock Slide. Then you can always run quirky like second moves or fourth hidden powers like on Mence. Like you could go like, well, I mean, Hidden Power Bug is actually notable for destroying Celebi, as Celebi can easily tank a Sludge Bomb or a Shadow Ball. You could go like, I don't know, Hidden Power Fire, beat that counter Scizor. Really cool option actually is Psychic. Psychic is a really nice option for Pokemon that you predict are banded and also locked into counter, such as like Regirock that's locked into counter, Ursaring locked into counter. Just lots of options like that. Psychic can hit those, and not only that, but also it can beat a lot of fighting types. Yeah, so that's really cool. Here's a cool set. This is what I was talking about before with the Return Metagross. So the idea behind Return, I'll explain it now, is that so Substitute Protect Zapdos beats pretty much all other Metagrosses with the Pressure Stall, and if you have a lot of bulk, that's honestly important to remember. That those matchups need to be tested more. But anyway, with Return and this high Spadef, you will beat Zapdos that is clicking Substitute plus Protect, because Return has enough PP to break through all of them, and then even if they get a double Protect at the end, you can just kill them with a powerful Struggle. This also should beat pretty much any Raikou. And the speed, I think, is for... I forgot what the speed is for. It might just be Dump, but this Spadef allows you to live as many T-Bolts as possible from Raikou and Zapdos. Yeah, so this is just... You can run this if you want to be really anti-Raikou Zapdos, but I think this is still kind of the way to go. Nixgross, this is a set that I made maybe September. Like I was developing ADV in September a bit, far after my video. And this is just a basic idea to kind of lure in Salamence. So you take anything from Salamence, you can Icy Wind it twice. You can beat Swampert with Hidden Power Grass and tanking hits, Psychic, and then obviously still keeping Meteor Mash. This is just a general idea. Like you can just run a mixed Gross like this. Salakgross, I don't know. You could lure like a Charizard clicking Blast Burn turn 1, and then you then you hit it with a Rock Slide Salac Berry. Salakgross could just do like quirky things, like it's just an idea in general. I don't know exactly what it beats. This is an underrated set that I think will become good once people start playing this metagame, is just max speed Metagross. A lot of Pokemon are specifically trying to maybe outspeed only Adamant Band Metagross, and Jolly Metagross really kind of pushes that bar and takes advantage of that, beating a lot of Pokemon that are running slower spreads and are bulking a lot of hits. And also it has a really good opposing Metagross matchup because you're going to be faster than the other band set. Yeah, so Metagross is Metagross. Usually it's going to be banded, but hey, I mean, maybe you could try some crazy things like Light Screen Rest. I don't know. Iron Defense Rest. Substitute Protect Toxic. Defense Curl Rest. Mimic. Like Psych Up. I don't know. Like Metagross can do a ton of weird things, I bet, that I haven't even looked into yet. But it's a very good Pokemon, and every team should be able to handle a banded Metagross. So let's keep going. Dang, that was only box 1. Tyranitar, the best Pokemon in ADVOU, the face of ADVOU, is still like really good. I mean, probably a top 5 Pokemon. I think the 5 that I just showed are better, but Tyranitar is still Tyranitar. Hold on a second. Another ad. Holy crap, bro. Okay, Tyranitar, the premier answer to electric types Zapdos and Raikou. That's its main selling point. This is a really good set. I mean, also Sandstream is just an amazing ability because it nullifies Leftovers Recovery, and most Pokemon are going to be running Leftovers because it's the best item in the game. Sandstorm just slowly chipping down the opponent is just a broken ability, and like look at these base stats. It's insane. Now, rock types don't get the Spadef boost in Gen 3. That would make Tyranitar, like, stupid nuts, thankfully. But it's still just really good Pokemon. one of the only viable dark types as well. But what this set aims to do is just kind of like an ADV OU, you start setting up and you start hitting hard. But what this beats is Registeel. Registeel, even let's say a Registeel clicks Seismic Toss every single turn that you even try to taunt on their iron defenses. With leftovers recovering with this much HP, 404, you're still not even going to be 5-hit KO'd by Seismic Toss. So you can just drag a dance, and then just keep earthquaking the Registeel. Very solid versus Registeel. Also handles counter Blissey pretty well, unless you get frozen, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. And you could, of course, you don't have to run max HP on this. Like, you could still run a little bit, you could still run any HP and usually beat Registeel. You can run more speed on this, defense, Spadef. You can customize Registeel a lot. This is fast band Registeel. Only reason that I have Dynamic Punch here is for beating Blissey, but one thing to note is that this isn't as reliable as banned Metagross, because on this set specifically, you don't have an attack plus nature, so Blissey can theoretically run like 252 HP, 252 defense, and tank a Dynamic Punch. But the idea of this Tyranitar is to just be as anti-opposing Tyranitar as possible with Brick Break. So just max speed, maximize the speed of Tyranitar, hitting hard, and use Brick Break. And what's nice about this banded Pokemon is because of Sandstream, you don't have to worry about Substitute Protect Pressure Mons, because you're going to be nullifying their leftovers. The only exception being Aerodactyl. Yeah. And so yeah, you can totally drop Dynamic Punch. You can run like Aerial Ace for Breloom. I don't know. You can run... Oh, I really like Crunch. Crunch is really nice. Crunch is really nice. With a little bit of special attack investment. Well, okay, like you can still usually beat Dusclops with Crunch like this, but they can Calm Mind, and Rest. But you can run like a... Is this my set? No. Did I didn't actually add my slow set. Let's see if I can... No, I can't find it on here. But I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it on the screen when I find it in post-editing, but you can run like some special attack and run a not minus special attack nature and guarantee 2-hit KO Dusclops. And reminder, Crunch is not physical, so it cannot get countered by Dusclops, which is really nice. Also allows you to finesse a lot of Alakazams. Like a barrier recover Alakazam. As yes, this actually can lose to barrier Alakazam. And then obviously Hidden Power Bug. Heck, you can run Fire Blast to beat like Scizor or like an unviable Fortress. Stuff like that. Band Tyranitar, lots of things. Bulky Band, don't really know what this set did, but just gives you an idea. You can run Bulk on Band. Counter Tyranitar, this is a cool idea. What this does is it allows you to live opposing Tyranitar's Brick Breaks, not Dynamic Punch, but please to God don't click Dynamic Punch versus other Tyranitars unless you have like a really, really good reason to believe that their Tyranitar answer is their own Tyranitar, and therefore it's Counter-Tar. What this set aims to do is with Taunt and Counter, you should be able to beat most Registeel. I would think. I kind of made this last minute to be honest, but just realize that with this also, I believe you live Salamence Brick Break. You might. I should really know this information, but just realize that the fact that Tyranitar has access to Counter is also makes it really, really nasty. And this is a quirky like set that I made. It's supposed to also try to lure Salamence. Helps a lot with Sandstream. And then with the Aerial Ace, you actually can beat like banded Heracross. And what's cool is that let's say a Heracross, clicks, so Mega Horn turn 1, you endure, you get the Salac Berry, Sandstream. Even if it's Salac Heracross, they can't click Endure because they'll die to Sand the next turn, which is really, really cool about Sandstream Tyranitar in general. This also makes it pretty nice against, like let's say you drop, let's say you make this a fully physical Salac Tar, and you drop this and you make it pump some attack and you run something like Earthquake, you can beat a Blaziken that tries to click Sky Uppercut turn 1, and they can't endure because of, again, Sandstream. So pretty cool set. Tyranitar is just a stupid good Pokemon. Use it. And you guys could probably come up with some other ideas as well as how to use it. If you want to be nasty, T-Wave, Rock Slide, Paraflinch. Nasty, nasty ideas. Anyway. Like, I wonder if Curse Tar could be good. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to another very defining Pokemon. And kind of the complement to Zapdos, we have Raikou. Raikou is not as good as Pressure Stalling because its defense stat, like if we compare... Like, let's just compare Zapdos and Raikou real quick, just for this sake, you can see that Zapdos has a bit more defense, 10 more defense, which does come into play, and hits harder naturally. What this means is that Raikou just can't pressure stall as well because it can't tank struggles as well. But I think, honestly, I think you could drop out of speed and you can go HP and turn into a cool pressure staller. But what Raikou's main thing it has over Zapdos is Calm Mind. This allows it to have a much better matchup versus Registeel, Blissey. Allows it to break through a lot of quirky threats, which I'll show you later on, which try to tank a Zapdos Thunderbolt, and then either set up their own special defense or click a move like Icy Wind into an attack. Examples that we'll explore later on include Blastoise and Walrein. So yeah, Raikou is still Raikou though. It's faster than Zapdos as well. Like another huge thing, I should have mentioned this if it's not obvious. Raikou is the premier Zapdos answer, which makes Raikou insanely good. But yeah, you could totally run, like, if you wanted to like surprise people, you could even drop Calm Mind and run Rest with like max HP. And while this is technically an objectively worse Zapdos, it's the surprise factor that counts about this because people are going to be expecting Calm Mind. My gosh. Next. Okay. Yeah. Raikou's good. Has pressure. Next, Anti-Zam. So this is a more offensive Raikou that I made with Calm Mind and Crunch. What this Spadef does is that I think it allows you to live 2 Psychics from Alakazam. And when you go Modest and Crunch, you just really nail Alakazam. And Alakazam can't really do anything about it unless they click Disable or something. Which, by the way, you're thinking that fast Disable Mons could be good in ADV. They aren't. Disable has 55% accuracy, which is terrible. And this also tries to nail Salamence, but again, you could run Sub over this. This is just Crunch. This is basically just run Crunch if you really don't want to lose to Alakazam, and I guess, like, Shedinja is another thing. And then this is a really good set as well that's on one of the sample teams is Sub Pataya. Very good Mets matchup, and just really good Pokemon in general with Calm Mind. Right? It's pretty self-explanatory why Raikou is good, I would hope. But yeah. Next, we move on to Blissey. Oh boy, this is quite the good Pokemon. Absurd special defense, like unmatched special defense. You could set up a Calm Mind on any special attacker, barring them having Encore, and just kill them. What also makes this really good is that it has Serene Grace Ice Beam, which means that even if something is trying to set up alongside Blissey and crit it, you have a 20% chance to get frozen every single turn, which if you think about it, Blissey is going to be lasting in a lot longer matches because it's so bulky. You're probably going to get frozen, which is what makes Blissey so annoying. In Rest, you make it immune to like Toxic Stall strategies, but I could totally see Soft Boiled being an idea. And yeah, Seismic Toss is here to secure Raikou. I actually thought that Blissey just beat Raikou, but I realized that Raikou can just keep clicking Calm Mind and sub on Blissey's Ice Beams and stall them out. Like in theory, and then it can just crit it, and then Blissey dies. So Seismic Toss helps it just shut down annoying anti-Blissey strategies that are hoping that it's running counters, such as like a crazy Houndoom, Typhlosion, lots of different strategies. But so Seismic Toss is just really good for securing like Raikou, but counter definitely still has its place. I think a lot of these sets in the compendium are hyper focused on hoping that Blissey has counters, such as Dynamic Punch Metagross. But when people start to not run those, that's when counter on Blissey becomes stupid good again. And also handling things like Ban Zapdos, and it just does a lot. It just does a lot. It's still Blissey. And honestly, you could explore other options like running like Thunderbolt on Blissey maybe, get that 20% paralysis chance. Maybe you could try Toxic Stall Blissey if people are not running Rest on Pokemon anymore. Lots of different ideas on Blissey, but Blissey is really, 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 really good, and every team needs to have an answer to Blissey. Next we have Dusclops. Dusclops is an interesting Pokemon. It's the Pokemon that's most similar to Registeel, but in its purest form. So this is the Imprisoned set, but this is what I would consider was the main set before. Was like Will-O-Wisp, Rest, Calm Mind, and then either Psychic or Ice Beam. The idea is that you still have crazy mixed defenses, and you just need to invest in HP, and you're a less crit prone Registeel because you have pressures, so they can't spam attacks. They have literally half of the amount of attacks that they would, like a banded Metagross clicking Meteor Mash. However, problem is that to lower their attack, you don't have something like defense. I mean, does this have defense curl? Either way, it's not going to increase your defense enough, so you have to burn them. Will-O-Wisp only has 75% accuracy, and this is very, very prone to like substitute strategies. But still, Registeel has a place, and you see the title here, Imprison. Imprison is a very, very nasty move on Registeel. So what you can do with Imprison is, let's say you go like this. This beats Registeel. Registeel cannot do anything about this unless they run that crazy, sorry, I just got a text. Unless they reveal that crazy band set, what you can do is you can imprison other stall Pokemon clicking Rest. And then you can slowly burn them to death. That sounded so bad. But also remember that, unlike in later gens, Burn does more damage than Leftovers Recovery. Burn is 1/8 in Gen 3. So you can slowly break down stall Pokemon. Imagine also things like a Vaporeon, maybe. But yeah, however, I still think that you can run, just drop the idea of, well, you can drop the idea of Wisp and run Ice Beam, or you could drop that and run Calm Mind. Like, you can do a lot of different things. This is also a very, very good Blissey answer, because you can prevent it from clicking Ice Beam and Rest, so you just slowly burn and it can't touch you unless Blissey is running, like, I don't know, like, I guess Thunderbolt, but it's not going to be doing anything because Blissey's just not very strong and Dusclops is really strong. I mean, really bulky. Another idea is Counterclops. This beats a lot of physical attackers without trying to click Wisp and then slowly stalling them, similar to Registeel. What these EVs do is, sadly, Registeel's or Dusclops' HP is pretty terrible, so its counters aren't actually going to be hitting that hard. The idea for Dusclops more so is that, like, you click counter and then, like, hopefully you tank 2 hits and then you can counter them twice, or you barely live and then you fire off like base 500 attack counters because it like doubles the HP that you took. Another ad, holy crap. I'm gonna have to edit these out, or maybe I might keep it in. Holy crap. Next, Fat Freddy's Party. Wit. Okay, yeah, what these defense EVs do is, like, so a banded 252 attack Metagross, what this is, allows you to take, always guaranteed take enough damage so that counter actually kills them. If you went like this, I mean, if you did this, you could actually, they could get a min roll Shadow Ball and they would be left at 1% HP when you clicked counter, which would be hilarious. Yeah, a potentially nasty idea. Might be really bad. I don't know. I just thought of this, is that, like, if you're afraid of Pokemon clicking a physical move and then not dying to counter, you could maybe do something like drop the defense totally. You're going to be living most hits, and then go like Salac Berry. So the idea could be like, you click counter, they bring you down to really low HP, right? And then you get Salac Berry, and then you finish them off with like a Seismic Toss. That could be an interesting idea, actually. I don't know what you would outspeed, because you are base 25, which is really terrible, but honestly, that might be kind of cool. Just get Scary Face. Not that it matters, you're not going to be able to set that up in time. I don't know. I just thought of that last minute, but whatever. Counterclops is good. Then you got, you know, just a quirky surprise band set. You guys can kind of figure out what that could do. And also, there's an idea of Curse Clops, which can, like, Hungry Foodies, who was really into ADV for some time, came up with the idea. It's just basically, you know, you guys know what Curse does on ghost types, slashes your HP in half and slowly breaks the opponent down, but it's really, really, it doesn't beat a lot of things that Imprison can't already beat. However, I honestly think that once the metagame starts to develop and more advanced Pokemon start coming up, I think Curse Clops could take down a lot of very fancy anti-meta, which is basically anti-Elrixi's compendium Pokemon down. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Sceptile. Done with enough. Oh my gosh, another ad. I should just get YouTube Premium. Just kidding, I'm not. Next. Let's look at Sceptile, the best grass type in ADV. Its iconic set, I'd say, is Subpataya. Remember, because there's no such thing as Choice Scarf, when you have base 120 speed, you automatically are in the driver's seat in most matchups because you know you're going to be moving first, always on turn 1. And what this set aims to do is with Overgrow, 1/3 less HP, hit with stupid powerful grass attacks, and you hit the opponent with a stupid powerful Leaf Blade at +1. You could even go Modest, I think is underlooked, because what Modest would aim to do is a lot of Pokemon try to bulk this +1 Overgrow Pataya. If you go Modest, you're going to roll those Pokemon objectively 55% of the time, which I think is notable. What this does is with, Hidden Power Ice, you're very good against other Sceptile, you're good against Salamence, and you're really, really good against Zapdos as well, unless they're banded, but whatever. And what you can also do for the last move, there's a lot of different options. I really like Agility. What Agility does, especially paired with Leaf Giga Drain, is what Agility does is it reliably beats that Substitute Dragon Dance Salamence set. Because when you sub, and let's say they Dragon Dance turn 1, you can click Agility, and then you're always still subbing faster than them, so you can always then hit them with that Hidden Power Ice. It's a little bit complicated, but it's pretty. I guess it's intuitive once you play it. So Agility is really cool. Also, Agility is really cool with Giga Drain to pretty much reliably beat Jolteon, and I think Agility can just do some other random stuff in general. And Giga Drain is a good option over Leaf Blade. I don't find a lot of situations where Leaf Blade kills something that Giga Drain doesn't, unless you get that high crit chance. And Giga Drain is really, really nice for helping with the Marowak matchup, so that you can start healing HP before they set up a Swords Dance and kill you with Bone Meringues. Giga Drain is really good for that. Over this, you can run Earthquake. I'm pretty sure even with this min attack, you should be beating most Raikous by just being faster and clicking Earthquake twice. I mean, if you really wanted to, I guess you could run minus special defense, but Earthquake is cool for that. You can run Crunch. I think Crunch just is nice versus Gengar matchup, because Gengars can beat Sceptile, and also hit Shedinja, which is notable. You can even run I don't know, you can do a lot of everything. You can even run Leech Seed, I guess, but I don't really know specifically what that beats. You could maybe even run Endure. That's a very anti-Marowak idea, to guarantee that you're going to hit them with that plus special attack Pataya Berry. Lots of different ideas. And then this is the main mix-up to that offensive Sceptile, is Leech Stall. Very, very good set. The idea of this is Sceptile is surprisingly bulky when you invest. Try to live as many physical hits as possible. Click Leech Seed, game over. Substitute Protect, stall them with leftovers, and you're gaining HP and always hiding behind either a Protect or a fast Substitute, and you're going to beat a lot of matchups. And what makes this extra nasty is that because Taunt is so garbage in this tier, where it only lasts one turn, let's say a slower Pokemon clicks Taunt as you Substitute. The next turn that you're taunted, they'll attack to break the Substitute, but then Taunt wears off and you can just Substitute again, which is why this is very foolproof. Forgot what this speed does. Hold on, 300 makes sense. Oh, wait. What the heck does 300 do? Is it, Salamence is gonna kill you. I guess it's just neutral natured base 100, so maybe like a banded Miltank, I guess. I don't know. But what this allows you to tank as many physical hits as possible, these EVs. I guess you could go slower if you wanted to, but yeah. What's also really, really cool about this is that if you run Seismic Toss over Leaf Blade, which I do think is the better option, this actually allows you to reliably beat Registeel, because what happens is that when you're pressuring it with Leech Seed and you have leftovers recovery, Registeel's Seismic Toss is not doing enough damage. And when they rest, the combination of Leech Seed and Seismic Toss actually does enough to 3-hit KO Registeel before they can rest again, which is super duper cool. However, it does actually have some hilarious weaknesses, which I'll talk about later. The most notable being is that if a Pokemon has over 400 base HP and leftovers, Sceptile with Leech Seed and Seismic Toss literally cannot break them in 3 turns. Therefore, like for example, a max HP Swampert would act with rest would beat the Sceptile guaranteed, because Sceptile literally can't kill it, which is hilarious. Which is why you could totally run Leaf Blade, and Leaf Blade also helps this set really, really reliably versus Marowak, but also obviously helps it, you know, stomp Swampert. And yeah, or Giga Drain, or you could run something else cute, but I really like Seismic Toss's ability to beat Registeel. However, obviously, if Registeel gets banned later on, Leaf Blade will be the premier option. And then next, every Pokemon can run Band, I guess. But however, I think Banded Sceptile, unlike surprise band mons like, you know, Registeel or Dusclops, especially Dusclops, this is actually a good set, because with Hidden Power Rock, you beat a lot of fast fire types such as Moltres and Charizard. Those are the 2 big ones that you stomp, which is like really, really cool. And even you can even stomp with like a Hidden Power Bug. You could lure like a Celebi. Earthquake lures Raikou a lot better than just non-banded Earthquake. Aerial Ace is really cute for Heracross. Like, you're gonna kill most Heracrosses. If you're a Heracross that clicks Endure turn 1, you're nuts, because a Sceptile is just gonna click Substitute and then it's game over and you just lost Grass versus a Bug type. And yeah, you can also do different things on this. Like, you can maybe run Brick Break and try to kill a Tyranitar. I don't know the role. It's probably not very much so in your favor with only base 85 attack. You could still run that Grass move, you know? Yeah, you can do lots of cool things. I had this one crazy thing that I passed a boat for the ADV Cup Finals. So I made this Sceptile that his opponent was using a Vaporeon with Ice Beam, right? And what's crazy is that Banded Sceptile actually loses to Vaporeon, because if they carry Ice Beam, because this week of a Leaf Blade, even if you invest in some special attack, you're not actually 2-hit KOing Vaporeon with their leftovers, and they're just gonna 2-hit KO with Ice Beam, which is hilarious. So I came up with this genius idea, which was Banded Solar Beam. The idea of Banded Solar Beam is that you eliminate them having leftovers recovery at all by charging Solar Beam turn 1, they Ice Beam you, bring you into Overgrow range, and then you just KO them with Solar Beam, which is so nasty, but you need some special attack investment, and you have to hope that they're Ice Beam Vaporeon. So it's like really, really stupid specific, but also really, really funny. So yeah, that's Sceptile. Sceptile is a good Pokemon. Very, very good Pokemon. There's a reason that it's A rank. Next, let's look at the best fighting type in ADV. Heracross. Also, is it the best fighting type in ADV OU? I think it's the most widely used. I think Pokemon like Hariyama and Machamp are starting to get some leverage thanks to linear curves. The linear curves fighting type spam. I'm going to link his channel in the description, because I loved his ADV OU analysis. I think ADV OU is the greatest tier, and he's a very good player. Anyway, and he's also a little bit into 1v1, which is hype. He was commenting on my old videos. Anyway, Banded Heracross, ADV OU classic. Stomp things with Brick Break, Mega Horn. Really great dual stab, because you beat a lot of Psychic types. And Heracross is super fast and super powerful. This set is the Banded set that I run on some teams that I have. The idea is obviously maximize power. 104 Spadef lives a Pataya Hydro Pump from Starmie, basically hoping they aren't Psychic. And the reason I have Hidden Power Ghost here is not only to stomp Gengar reliably, unless they're counter, but to make sure that I'm not missing Mega Horns as like Starmie click substitute. Yeah, so that's the idea behind Hidden Power Ghost, but you can totally run Earthquake over this or something like that. Focus Punches here to outplay counter Registeel. You're gonna KO it. Also, I'll play just a bunch of different counter Pokemon in general, such as maybe like a Swampert, but it obviously involves a lot of prediction. Yeah, and you can obviously totally just forego this and go speed. You can even bulk, because Heracross, look at that Spadef, 80-95 is actually pretty good. You can even bulk a Psychic from Alakazam if you really wanted to and dropped attack. You can do a lot with Banded Heracross. Lychee Cross, insanely good set, because because of the fact that speed is so important in ADV 1v1 without Custat Berry or Scarf. You sub on anything that's slower than you, and you hit it with an astronomically powerful... What is this? And you hit it with the... Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait, no, hold on. I gotta hide this. Okay. Astronomically powerful, +1, adamant, base 200 power, stab, reversal, Heracross. It's gonna KO pretty much everything. And you make use of Swarm by hitting things with Swarm Megahorn. Just an insanely good set. Swords Dance, all that stuff. Pretty self-explanatory why this set would be good. Salakross, the idea behind Salakross, you can go Jolly on this, by the way, to endure on an Aerodactyl hidden power flying and kill it with reversal. But yeah, Salak Heracross is really, really good. It's another big mix-up because a lot of slower Pokemon are going to be losing to a Lychee Berry reversal. A common thing is like, okay, I'll just outspeed Heracross. But the problem with that is that there's the potential of Salak Berry, and let's say an Aerodactyl clicks Aerial Ace, endure Salak reversal, and it's donezo. An Alakazam clicks Psychic, endure Salak Megahorn, you're done. That's why Heracross is so good, because of the Lychee Salak Berry mix-up. EV is pretty self-explanatory, and like you can EV Heracross for a lot of different things, and I also think some interesting options on well, actually I'll talk about that after Fast Band, which I think is really good, because you're hoping that Heracross is adamant, but this kind of makes the best of both worlds. You're just going to hit as hard as fast as possible, and with hidden power flying you can even beat other Heracross unless they're Endure Salak hidden power flying, but that would be other levels of crazy. Yeah, anyway, yeah, and yeah, Heracross is good. Heracross is just a really good Pokemon. I think Bulk Up could maybe be explored. I don't know. You can do some stuff with Heracross. Maybe Flail hits something. I didn't even know it got Flail. That's actually really scary. Yeah, Heracross is cool. Next, let's go on to Alakazam. This is a very, very good Pokemon. Like, I don't think people realize just how good this Pokemon is. I think this is its best set because it does the most of what you want an Alakazam to do. So, this is the most viable usage of Encore. Encore is an insanely good move in ADV. It makes the target... wait, actually, let me check ADV. I feel like it's not just 3. Yeah, it's 3 to 6 turns in ADV. And what this does is you basically beat every special attacker because you're faster than pretty much all of them at base 120. You're going to be setting up your own Calm Mind, and Alakazam has good special defense. They're going to be relatively bulky, and if a Pokemon does not click an attack versus Alakazam, you just Encore them and it's over. And even if they Thunder Wave you, you have Synchronized, so they'll be paralyzed as well. And then you can just start setting up your own Calm Minds and break them down with Psychic. You beat Blissey, by the way, if you don't get frozen, which is unlikely. It's actually in Blissey's favor, if I recall correctly. But Blissey cannot click Calm Mind versus Alakazam because they Encore and they set up the +6 and you slowly break them down with Psychic. And then also having access to Recover just makes this Alakazam really, really good. And you can drop Recover if you want. You can maybe drop Calm Mind, Encore. You can throw an Ice Punch. Now you're hitting things like Flygon. You're hitting things like Salamence. You're hitting things like Sceptile harder. Like, Alakazam has the elemental punches. You're afraid of Scizor? Fire Punch. You're afraid of Starmie? I don't know how Starmie would beat you, actually, but, like, I guess, actually, Starmie can theoretically beat you if it hits a lot of Hydro Pumps, because it does hit you very hard right away. You can run Thunder Punch for that. Yeah. It's just a good Pokemon. Alakazam is good. Problem is, you die to any physical attacker. Uh-oh. Never mind. We got Barrier Alakazam, the premier mix-up to any offensive Calm Mind set. You run a physical attacker to try to beat Alakazam? Too bad. Now it's fast. It's setting up +2. Doesn't have to rest. It can just recover. And if you try to set up alongside it, it's going to Encore you and it's over. You can drop Encore, honestly, on Barrier Recover, but I don't really recommend it. Yeah, but anyway, like, this should beat a lot of Metagross. It could beat Tyranitar, Salamence. It's a Marowak answer, surprisingly, especially with Psychic. because they can't click Swords Dance. No Marowak is clicking Swords Dance anyway because they don't want to get 2-hit KO'd by Ice Punch, but you can Barrier on a Marowak and hope to not get crit. It is a little bit shaky, but if you set up 2 barriers into Recover, and then you can start spamming Psychic, you can beat Marowak pretty well, honestly. Another great option over Psychic is Seismic Toss. Similar to Sceptile, this is a mix-up that just destroys Registeel. Like, you just destroy. Because the thing is, think about it. Registeel clicks anything but Seismic Toss turn 1. You Encore, break them down with Seismic Toss. It's over. If they do click Seismic Toss turn 1, cool. You just Seismic Toss them. You Encore their Seismic Toss, recover, Seismic Toss, recover, Seismic Toss, Encore. Repeat the process, and you slowly break down the Registeel. Yeah, and you can even play it ultra safe if you're really scared of Band or something like that. And click Barrier turn 1 and you'll probably beat it. Yeah. Problem is that you can die to counter, so you gotta kind of outplay the counter Registeel, but you're pretty safe versus it. That's what makes this really good. Subpataya tries to be really solid versus Salamence. That might set up a Dragon Dance, and also you're just hitting things really hard. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a cool idea I had, Twisted Spoon Modest Zam. What this tries to do is it tries to maximize the Pokemon that are bulking for a Alakazam Psychic, which is a lot of Pokemon. And instead you hit them with a modest Twisted Spoon powered Psychic, which is going to KO most of them by surprise. Yeah, just, you can do whatever after that. And then, honestly, I don't really know what this specifically beats. But Alakazam does have Trick. It's not the best Trick user, but it is a Trick user. And if you don't attack Alakazam turn 1, it's over. It's the fastest Trick user, which is nice. But again, the problem with this is that, like, you're usually going to be clicking an attack turn 1 versus Alakazam, because if you don't, then you get Encored and you lose. So, like, I don't know the full process behind this, but yeah. And, like, you could probably get fancy with Alakazam. I don't think I've even looked at all the sets. Maybe Knockoff Recover could be good. Like that quirky ADVOU lead. I don't know. You could do some crazy stuff. Taunt maybe. I don't know. Oh, Sub. Yeah, Sub. I already covered Sub. Yeah, Alakazam does Alakazam stuff. It's a good Pokemon. Let's move on. Ursaring. I did not even talk about this Pokemon in the last video, but I did talk about it in that the ADV 1v1 video that I did that popped off, that I'll also link in the description. That was hype, dude. 1,300 views. Good shit. Anyway, let's look at Ursaring. It is the most powerful normal type in ADV 1v1. 130 base attack, and you gotta remember, Hyper Beam is physical. So you are mauling things, and you can't even burn it because of Guts. And this set specifically with its Spadef, and it has great bulk. 90, 75, 75 is great bulk. With Return, you're going to be destroying Raikou and Zapdos pretty much no matter what. Because they're not, a lot of them aren't even going to live the banded return. Oh my gosh, eBay. eBay it forward. Anyway, you're going to be destroying most of them with one return, so they can't even play it. They can't even try to finesse you. Yeah, this is a really, really good set. You can run Brick Break and beat a lot of Tyranitars. But some can tank you. Brick Break is also really nice for, like, Kecleon. Not that you're losing to Kecleon, I'm dumb. I mean, I guess a Kecleon could go quick and substitute on your Hyper Beam or something, or if you're afraid of getting killed by counter. Anyway, Earthquake is great. Counter is good. Hidden Power Ghost. I mean, okay, yeah, you probably want to run Hidden Power Ghost so you actually can hit Gengar, because Gengar resists normal fighting and ground. Yeah. Ursaring is just really good. Like, you OHKO Blissey. You can OHKO some Swamperts. You KO a ton of stuff. Ursaring is mad scary if you don't have Substitute. This is a cool set that I came up with. Idea of this is just an Ursaring that doesn't lose to Registeel without hoping that you get a crit, and also outplays counter. SD Silk Scarf. What this is also really cool is this set specifically that I made. Why do I have that choice? Oh, Sub. Sub is nice for being, honestly, I forgot the idea behind Sub. Oh, for other Ursarings that click Hyper Beam turn 1, as most should. That was the idea behind Sub. Sub is also just a good move in general, even if you're slow. You could imagine like a Blaziken that clicks Endure turn 1 and hoping to kill you with Reversal. Substitute on them, it's game over. And what this set does is you can actually, so what you could do, which is crazy, is you can Silk Scarf Hyper Beam a Vaporeon turn 1, right? They don't die, but they'll set up Acid Armor, and then even on your recharge turn, you threaten to kill them with Hyper Beam the next time, so they have to rest, and then you just Swords Dance, Hyper Beam them. Very cool. And you can obviously over substitute, you can still run Return so that you're still hitting with a Silk Scarf powered Return. Yeah. I don't think Ursaring should be running Bulk Up. Maybe it could be. Oh, I also forgot to mention, Yawn is banned. Sleep is banned in ADV. I should have mentioned that earlier. But Sleep is banned in ADV because then Jump Bluff would be broken because you can Sleep Powder Grass types and there's no Scarf, so you cannot outpace it. It made Jump Bluff and Jinx extremely stupid Pokemon. And I think the unexplored Hypnosis Persian as well. Or Crobat. I forgot if Crobat got that. Anyway, Ursaring is pretty self-explanatory. You want to have an answer for it. Regice! I think you could consider this the most, like, it's very similar to Blissey, but it is the only viable ice. No, there's another viable ice type. It's Walrein, but it's the premier ice type in ADV. And I guess the same kind of goes for an ADV-OU, actually. Not that Regice is used that much, because it's not that great. It's kind of fallen out of favor in ADV-OU. But anyway, idea behind Regice is clear body, same as Registeel, can't be lowered. But what my set does, which is the most common, I guess because I made it, is you don't even run Rest on Regice. You are so insanely specially bulky after an Amnesia that you're actually going to be healing on most special attackers by just clicking Amnesia and having Leftovers Recovery. And then the idea is like, oh, well, what if they just Calm Mind? Okay, cool. You just click Amnesia and click Seismic Toss, and you're going to be destroying Zapdos, Raikou, I don't know, Celebi, tons of different stuff. I mean, you're just going to be beating a lot of different you're going to be beating a lot of different Pokemon with Amnesia, Seismic Toss. And then the last move, so what you can do is, Regice is, I'd also consider a very solid Marowak answer. However, the problem is that Marowak can definitely creep 50 if they're creeping 55 on Blissey. And they can just hit you with Rock Slide twice. And they can EV to tank Ice Beam. So what you can do, this is like if you want to 100% beat Marowak, barring like a Rock Slide flinch, I guess, is you can run Icy Wind with 12 speed, you outspeed any Marowak possible, and you just click Icy Wind into Ice Beam, and no Marowak can tank that, and you win. Another great option so that you're just like, the thing about Hidden Power Grass is that it's just nice on a lot of Pokemon to just kind of like slap on, and you turn into a Swampert answer usually. It's just really cute in that regard, and this turns it into a Swampert answer, unless you like, I guess, get countered, but you can outplay that by just clicking Ice Beam turn 1, but then you gotta hope they're not banded Rock Slide, stuff like that. I think speed on Regice is notable, like just for the things that are trying to creep it. And yeah, next, this is the same kind of deal. Icy Wind for Marowak. You can run this amount of defense to tank a Jolly Aerodactyl Rock Slide, but the problem I have with that, honestly, is that you're hoping that the Aerodactyl is Jolly choice banned. That's one thing. Adamant rolls you, as in like it has like a 55% chance to kill. And number 2, you're hoping to not get flinched, which is a 30% chance. It just feels a little bit shaky. And you lose out on some power, which doesn't beat anything specifically, but it doesn't have to beat anything specifically. Yeah, you can, Thunderbolt is also insanely good. I should have mentioned that earlier. Thunderbolt stomps Vaporeon. It turns you into a reliable Gyarados answer when you have this defense. And yeah, it's just, I mean, Bolt Beam coverage in general is really good. That's what made Regice really good in early ADV-OU. Sadly, you can't explode on stuff now, but yeah. And then counter Regice. An unexplored mix-up. Counter can beat a lot of like a Metagross that isn't very attack invested on its band. You should beat. Why is the ending that? Oh my gosh, another ad.
The easy path is to just fit in.
Skip ad. Okay, man, I'm still talking about ADV. Yeah, counter Amnesia, Rest Ice Beam. These three were just filler, but the main thing is counter and max defense. You can surprise a lot of physical attackers. Honestly, it's just the idea. Just Regice having counter is nasty. And I still think rest is a fine option on Regice. And also something like toxic, I think, could be good on Regice. Yeah, you can do different stuff with Regice. I think I have a lot of Pokemon that are running rest, but there's also some that just don't run rest. So like this set right here, which is probably the set that I ran the most, was on an old team I used to use. This will lose to a Pokemon that has like Sub Protect Toxic or something if Ice Beam can't do that much damage. It's what you get for running a stall Pokemon without rest. But yeah, Regice is very, very good. And it is like the premier Salamence answer. Like you're usually going to beat Salamence unless they're like, yeah, that banded Iron Tail that can roll you sometimes, or like, I don't know. It's just, it's a good Pokemon. It's like a more offensive Blissey, I guess, but it's still weak to fighting. But yeah, anyway, hits harder, much harder. Yeah. Now we move on to another relevation of ADV through the ADV Cup that I didn't even talk about last time is Sub-Pataya Charizard. This Pokemon is absolutely ridiculous. Extremely, extremely strong. Premier Marowak answer because it can't get Bone Ringed because of its flying type. And the idea is that starters got access to this crazy move called Blast Burn. And with Blaze, where it's powered up, and +1 attack, you're hitting stupid hard. Like, think about Sceptile. Like, the reason that Sceptile isn't broken is because it doesn't have Frenzy Plants. It only has Leaf Blade. Blast Burn is 80 more power than Leaf Blade, which is what makes this set insane. And with Flamethrower and HP Grass, you can handle things like Swampert pretty well as well. And the idea is that without Scarf, you just sub on anything slower, and you just absolutely destroy it with the Pataya Blast Burn. Extremely strong, very, very good Pokemon that should start to see more usage with the sample that it is used, showcased on. Yeah, self-explanatory. Oh, EVs, shoot, I forgot what these EVs are for. I'll post an explanation on the screen. I forgot what they're for. Let's move on. Subdrum. This was an idea I had for, because what's crazy is that, so this Charizard can actually lose to Regice. Because, like, Flamethrower doesn't hit too hard at the start, and technically a Regice with Rest can just click Amnesia and Rest, and then, like, beat it. Like, honestly, like, a cool idea could be, like, Amnesia, Resto, Chesto, Regice or something like that. I don't know, but, like, it's not 100% solid versus Regice, but this is. You can just Belly Drum into Brick Break it. Also handles Blissey if they don't have Seismic Toss. That's very important. If they do, then you're just toast. Well, no. I take that back. You're going to destroy all Blissey with Belly Drum into Brick Break. That was a dumb thing. And you still get to beat Blissey while still doing things like beating Marowak and everything else because you're Sub-Pataya Blast Burn. You just don't have the special attack investment. And you're not as fast, but it still does work. And also, like, I need to remind you guys, just in general, any Pokemon can run a surprise band set and lure things. Like, you could run, like, Banded Ancient Power. You can even throw counter on this thing. Like, you can do a lot of quirky things with a lot of Pokemon, and that's what I think makes ADV great. Anyway, let's move on. Swampert. I love Swampert. That's the only starter I used in Gen 3. It's so good. And also, it's because this is my signature set. This is the Spadef Cursepert. This Spadef lives a +1 Pataya Hidden Power Grass from Jolteon. When people run Jolteon as their Swampert answer, which I used to back in the day when I was the only one that played ADV. I still am the only one that plays ADV, please. Yeah, the idea is that you live a lot of special hits, and you're also insanely physical bulky because you set up Curse and you break things through Earthquake. And what makes this less crit proof than other Pokemon that set up their defenses is that not only are you setting up your defense, but you're increasing your attack so you can still hit things hard with Earthquake. And now what makes this unique is Rollout. You might think, what the hell does Rollout do? Here's what Rollout does. Rollout beats any pressure stall Pokemon that is not running Hidden Power Grass. So a non-Hidden Power Grass Zapdos is going to lose because even though Rollout has 32 PP, it's every cycle of Rollout uses a power point. So in reality, you have upwards of, like, technically, like, if all 5 hits hit, you have upwards of, like, 150 power points. So you're not going to lose to pressure stuff.
And what this also really cool, what it does is versus, let's say, like an Acid Armor Vaporeon. So they set up Acid Armor, Earthquake is never going to break through them, and they're never going to break you with Surf, but you can slowly chip them down with Rollout. And like Rollout at max power is doing like 480 damage base power, and so you're going to be rolling through stuff. And it also still gives you a way to hit things like Salamence. But if you do want to drop Rollout, you can run something, you can run like some attack investment and guarantee KO on Charizard, because also Charizard's, like, what you can do, here's just an idea that I thought of, is, so this is tanking Jolteon's Hidden Power Grass at +1. You could definitely try to tank Charizard's Hidden Power Grass at +1, and you can just run Hidden Power Rest over Rollout and still like beat things like Salamence, but also beat Charizard. You can run Rock Slide over Rollout, because Rollout does have a lot of downsides that aren't fully explored, but like are pretty self-evident. Like, think about like a Tauntmon maybe with Toxic and Protect, like a Crobat. I don't know, this is random, but Rollout is so weak initially. It's such an initially weak move at base 30 that you can lose to some things. You can maybe run another thing like that I have to mention is that, so this Swampert actually loses to a Marowak clicking will lose to a Marowak. My gosh. Yeah, this will lose to a Marowak clicking Swords Dance because you can't do enough with Earthquake, and Swords Dance outpaces Curse. So you can run some special attack investment, take out of this, and you can run Surf and 2-hit KO Marowak. So this is also a very good set. And if you want to be super solid versus Salamence, I guess you can go Ice Beam. And you can play around with these EVs, lots of different things with Swampert. Then we have this. This is a, holy crap, I have a lot of different move options there. This is an idea that I just kind of made on the fly while making the compendium last week, is just Banded Swampert. Hit things hard right away with Earthquake, tank things with Counter. This eats anything from Heracross except the Focus Punch. With 48 special attack and Surf, you're going to 2-hit KO Marowak, and they can't do a thing about it unless they're like super duper fast and super duper powerful Bone Meringue or something like that. And you can run so many different moves in the last slot. You can run like Mirror Coat potentially. I forgot this thing gets Mirror Coat, that's scary. You can run Ice Beam. Does this thing get Aerial Ace? No. Hidden Power Flying to try to beat a Heracross clicking Focus Punch. Hidden Power Grass for other Swampert, like any other Pokemon can. And like, so this is just a really nice set in general. And you can even run like, honestly, like, I think a set like this would not even be that bad. Just go max speed. Like, I think ADV is the type of metagame right now where no one really knows what they're doing still, because it's not been developed at all, except by me and my ideas, is that you could totally get away with a 252 and just surprise everything that's expecting my Curse set, and just hit things hard. Yeah, and then this is a crazy set that I made. The same idea as like ADV OU, except probably less effective, but like to substitute and Endeavor stuff and kill things with, like, let's say you the idea is maybe like you tank a hit, right? Endeavor turn 1, Salac Berry procs, Seismic Toss them. Or you eat a hit and can still substitute Salac Berry, Endeavor behind the substitute into Seismic Toss. Also a Torrent Hydro Pump, like you can do a lot of things. I wish this thing got Hydro Cannon. I really do, but it doesn't. But yeah, and you could even go fully special Swampert with like full special attack Hydro Pump Torrent. Pataya Berry, stuff like that. Swampert is really scary, and you don't just stick to this Spadef Curse set, even though it is very reliable and very good. Swampert can do a lot of different things, which is why it's A- rank. The only reason it's A- rank is, as you can tell, I mean, first of all, it's speed, but also like you could just run Hidden Power Grass and it's kind of boned. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to Vaporeon. Vaporeon is a Pokemon I kind of developed. Idea is that you have a ton of PP, Acid Armor. You're gonna be winning most Struggle Wars because it has 64 PP, and with this massive HP and massive defense, you're actually less prone to crits than other Pokemon that have less HP, because you're so bulky after an Acid Armor. It's ridiculous. I think you could get away with Acid Armor Resto Chesto because you're so bulky after an Acid Armor, and you're still hitting hard with Surf. It's kind of like a Swampert that's less weak to that's less weak to Hidden Power Grass, obviously, and also beats other water types with Water Absorb. Like, you should beat Swampert unless it's Rollout, but again, you could just run Hidden Power Grass and beat that set. And what makes Vaporeon really cool is that it's ultra flexible 4th slot on this Acid Armor set. You can run Ice Beam, so you're not crit bait versus Salamence. Ice Beam also helps you beat a lot of quirky grass types, such as, like, I don't know, like a Banded, Sceptile, unless it's that Solar Beam tech. You can beat, like, a Breloom. You can beat a lot of things that are hoping that you're only using a water move, basically, is how I would like to think of this Vaporeon. But my favorite set is the Mimic tactic, which is so cool. Long story short, Mimic allows you to beat Seismic Toss Registeel because you stall out all of these moves, and then at the end, when they are forced to use Seismic Toss, you mimic their Seismic Toss, and then you break them down quicker with the Seismic Toss than they break you down with Seismic Toss, which is, like, super duper cool. Not only that, but what Mimic does, which is super cool, is it can allow you to outplay, like, a Blissey clicking Calm Mind turn 1. You actually win that matchup by setting up your own Calm Mind, and it just, like, I can't really describe it, but it just, Mimic can just really finesse a lot of Pokemon that you wouldn't even expect. It's a very viable move. You can run Hidden Power Electric to try to secure the Gyarados matchup and increase your odds versus other Vaporeon. You can run Toxic just because, I don't know, Toxic Vaporeon. You can run Sub to try to beat, like, a Trick Kecleon and just also try to make yourself less crit proof as you set up Acid Armors and then hide behind a Sub. You can run Hydro Pump. You can do lots of different things. It's still a Vaporeon. It's a good ADV OU mon, and it's a good ADV 1v1 mon. And then next, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what this EV spread did, but it's just a powerful Vaporeon. I think it's a viable mix-up to, like, have these anti-stall Pokemon be expecting to be able to tank multiple Vaporeon Surfs, and now you're hitting with a 252 plus stab Surf, which is really powerful. Again, I forgot what these EVs did, but it's just an idea in general. You could even run Salac Berry on Vaporeon. Yeah. Vaporeon can do Vaporeon things. It's a cool Pokemon. It is like the premier bulky water alongside Swampert, but I think it's a more like solid bulky water, because you can imagine Tyranitar running Hidden Power Grass, a Metagross running Hidden Power Grass, and, like, those Pokemon like T-Tar and Metagross that can hit you with Thunder Punch and Thunderbolt, you're not going to be doing a lot because you're Vaporeon and you're stupidly bulky. LinkedIn Learning helps them blap. So yeah, that is Vaporeon. Holy crap, I'm talking for a while. Next we go to, how far are we down? Okay, we're getting close, I guess. Man, I am talking and talking and fucking talking. Okay. Whew. Do I take a break right now? Okay. We are back. I took a little break. Okay, let's look at Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is a very good Pokemon. Just backspace this stuff. Bam. Okay. So, what makes Aerodactyl a great Pokemon? Not only just an ADV OU. I mean, it's one of the fastest relevant Pokemon in the metagame, in both metagames, OU and 1v1. And not only that, but, you know, it just has a great stab move and Rock Slide similar to Tyranitar. But what unironically makes Aerodactyl really, really good is that it just needs one flinch to steamroll another Pokemon. As in, it just needs one flinch to, like, beat so many more Pokemon than it does without one flinch. But even if Rock Slide didn't have the flinch chance, Aerodactyl would still be a stupid good Pokemon. But imagine the ADV OU context of, like, oh, well, if you get flinched by an Aerodactyl, then you can lose, like, multiple flinches, but this time you only need one flinch and you can beat so many different Pokemon. Yeah, and not only that, but also great flying. It doesn't have, like, an amazing flying stab, but nothing does unless you have Drill Peck. Great flying stab to beat a lot of fighting types and grass types. It's just a very fast and powerful Pokemon. Earthquake, you're going to KO most Raikous. unless they specifically bulk for it, which then they lose out on a lot of other things. And yeah, it's just a really great fast banned Pokemon. Some other great options are you can even run Hidden Power Fighting, and you can KO a lot of Tyranitars, especially if you go Adamant, which I think is not a bad set. You can even run, what I think is cool is you can run Sky Attack, and what Sky Attack does is, so Aerodactyl, obviously, it isn't like the strongest thing ever. So a lot of Pokemon that are even affected super effectively by its hits can try to finesse it by clicking counters, such as maybe like a bulky Machamp, a bulky Hariyama, a Ludicolo potentially even, or an Enduracell like Heracross, and you can outplay that by using Sky Attack, which is really cool. Not only that, but Sky Attack also with its higher crit chance, the flinch chance doesn't really matter unless you're running non-banded Sky Attack, which would be kind of crazy, but the high crit chance means you can technically blow past a Pokemon such as, like, imagine like a Cursepert. If you just get one crit on the banded Sky Attack, that's over. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's a very, very good Pokemon, especially just because of its speed. So then this is another set. This is just anti-Raikou, which is basically an excuse to run Adamant Aerodactyl, which I think is also really good. Yeah, just Adamant Aerodactyl. This was a ultra anti-Salamence set that I made. The idea being I wanted to tank any hit from banded Salamence, 32, 252, and then it's just a bulky banded Tyranitar. I mean, a bulky banded Aerodactyl. But very, very anti-Salamence. I mean, honestly, I would slap one of these on a team and say, like, okay, unless, like, Salamence has to bulk for Rock Slide just a little bit, but also, I'm just one flinch away from winning. And if they don't, and if the Salamence is not carrying a rock move, Aerodactyl is just going to win anyway, unless they're like Dragon Dance, Hidden Power, Rock, which could be a thing for Zapdos. Wait, no, that's the same thing as Rock Slide. I'm dumb. Anyway, yeah, bulky offensive. Thing with this set, though, is that you're not going to be KOing Zapdos. So what you can do on this set is you can actually run Ancient Power. I guess give yourself a chance to beat Zapdos with the Spadef boost and stuff, but that's kind of gimmicky. But the biggest mix-up with Aerodactyl is Pressure Stall. Pressure Stall Aerodactyl is, I need to test it more, but I think it's still really good. The idea is, think about a lot of the Pokemon that are running Return to beat Zapdos and Raikou. Well, now you're a Pressure Staller that resists it with Rock typing, so you beat a lot of them with Rest. And not only that, but you could still be Aerodactyl and hit things offensively with Rock Slide, Hidden Power Flying, Earthquake. Yeah, so it's pretty darn good. Or it can be pretty darn good. And yeah, so it's just a standard pressure stalling Pokemon. It can do a lot of work. And then I think you can also on Aerodactyl, I think some ideas that should be explored more are like Taunt Toxic. Even though Taunt sucks, you can still, I mean, so it shows Taunt doesn't suck here, but let me just show you. DT3 Taunt. 2 turns, including the turn that you use it, by the way. Which, yes, for Aerodactyl means that because you're faster than everything, you're gonna get a 2-turn Taunt, but it still kind of sucks. But you know, you can explore it if you want to. Maybe I'm underselling it. Yeah, there's just a lot of different things you can do. I mean, you can maybe even run Fire Blast. I don't know. Aerodactyl's just a really fast, solid, strong, good typing Pokemon. Yeah. Next, Starmie. Premier offensive water type. This is my favorite set, and I think it's the best set. You go modest because you're not outspeeding anything too relevant between 100 and 115. Like, this is a common theme. Like, let's look at speed. Let's look at 100 starting here. So 252 Starmie outpaces all these base 100s, and then let's look at what's in between. Scyther. I mean, okay, it'll probably tank a Thunderbolt from you anyway and hit you with a Bug move. Rapidash, you're beating anyway, even though Rapidash is irrelevant. Manectric, don't use the Manectric. Electabuzz, I tried to look into Electabuzz once with Cross Chop, but it just sucks. Maybe you guys can figure out something with it. Could be cool. Hold on, I gotta find. Oh, let's go back to speed. Base 100 to base 115. The most notable you're gonna get is Tauros, if they're like max speed Tauros. Gengar is notable, and then I guess other Starmies. But most of the time, you're going to want that modest power, because while Starmie is strong, it isn't like ridiculously strong, because it only has base 100 special attack. but it makes use of Sub-Pataya really well, and you KO a lot of things with Hydro Pump. Yes, a lot of things are bulked for it, but there's a reason they're bulked for it, because this is a great Pokemon. Powerful Hydro Pump, powerful Ice Beam, and then you have great coverage options such as Psychic and Thunderbolt and even Hidden Power Grass to really nail it to Swampert. And yeah, and not only that, but you can do some ideas such as this idea, which is a really cool idea that I think needs to be explored more. I didn't take the time to explore it too much, but Starmie has a signature move in Gen 3 not a lot of people know about called Camouflage, except in this generation, it just automatically turns you into a normal type Pokemon, which means if you imagine Pokemon clicking a super effective ghost move, like a banded Metagross clicking Shadow Ball, you click Camouflage turn 1 and you auto win. Not only that, but you can utilize Cosmic Power and Recover and maybe turn into like some sort of mixed tank that's starting to stall things out. And you can maybe even beat a Zapdos with Camouflage, Ice Beam, and Recover. Tanking its Thunderbolt's a lot easier because you're now a normal type and you can set up with Cosmic Power, Recover, and you're faster than it. Probably beat Zapdos. I think Starmie should be explored in that regard. Maybe a Toxic Recover set could still be good. Maybe, does it get Reflect? Yeah, it gets Reflect, also gets Light Screen. Yeah, I think Starmie has some options, but I think the main set you're going to be using and finding a lot of use in is this set. And I think Thunderbolt is the best option because it allows you to beat Vaporeon, allows you to beat Gyarados, increases other Starmie's matchups, but Psychic can be used for reliability versus things like, I mean, just fighting types in general. Smacks Gengar. I don't think Gengar can live it. Gengar can maybe finesse it, I don't know. But yeah, really good Pokemon. Yeah, and I think you can even get away with some bulk because, like, yeah, I don't know, it's just a great Pokemon. Next we got another really good water type, and one that I didn't even have ranked before in my last video, was Blastoise. Blastoise is similar to the Charizard Relevation, which is like, yo, this spawn gets Hydro Cannon, let's do Sub-Torrent crazy powerful Hydro Cannon. It's not as powerful because it's base 85 attack, but Blastoise is more so trying to leverage its bulk to set up sequences like Surf into Hydro Cannon. And what this set does, which is cool, is you can spam Icy Wind on Zapdos and you tank any Thunderbolt, not any Thunderbolt, like most Thunderbolts, and you can click Icy Wind into Hydro Cannon and beat Zapdos, which is really cool. So this, I would consider this a okay Zapdos answer. You also stomp things like Marowak, you're going to KO Ursaring with sub Hydro Cannon, you're going to beat a lot of stuff. And I think these EVs can be played around with. You can even like forego that matchup versus Zapdos a little bit and just go really speedy Blastoise. You can go a lot more bulky Blastoise. Yeah, Hydro Pump maybe you could fit on it. Yeah, it's a cool Pokemon. It's very solid Pokemon. Don't have much to say about it. It's just similar to Charizard. It's just totally different typing and it's slower but bulkier. Next we got Houndoom. So Houndoom is a very good Pokemon. Rounds out the A- rank. Basically what its main thing is that it's a very good anti-stall Pokemon, and has an amazing Dark Stab, which means that it's a special attacker that beats Alakazam, which is rare. Not only that, but with Flash Fire, you're very anti other fire types unless they gear towards you with a specific move. Very powerful. You outspeed and KO things like Metagross. You're going to handle Alakazam and Dusclops. This is a boat set. It's bad kind of because of Seismic Toss. You just lose to Seismic Toss, but if they're counter, you can be very, very reliable versus Blissey with Taunt, Toxic, Lum. You beat Registeel pretty handedly with Houndoom as well, which is really nice. And you can have these mix-ups such as the Salac Berry Houndoom, which aims to beat a Salamence clicking attack turn 1 and Flygon, and also allows you to pretty much secure the matchup versus something like a Heracross, where you click Fire Blast turn 1, and if they don't endure, they die. If they do endure with Salac, you just endure yourself and get your own Salac, unless they like try to outplay that for some reason. And yeah, Taunt. You can do a lot of different things. These are the kind of the best sets, I think. Charcoal's also really good. I think Houndoom is pretty self-explanatory on like what it does, though, so I don't think I need to go too much in depth. But it's like a very unique special attacker, and it's pretty darn good. Yeah. Problem is it's super frail, similar to this Pokemon, which is just as frail, which is Gengar. Gengar is really good. It is a great Pokemon. It's fast, it's versatile. The problem is it's kind of outclassed by Alakazam a little bit because Alakazam has the same sort of attacks, has a better stab option, is faster, and has access to Encore and Recover. Gengar has none of these things. What Gengar has is Levitate and a really nice defensive typing, which means you beat a lot of Pokemon that are running very common physical stabs, such as normal, ground, and fighting. Let's go to this. Yeah. Is that what makes Gengar good? This is my set that I think might be the best. It's taunt 3 attacks. You shut down Registeel guaranteed with taunt into Fire Punch. You don't even need leftovers or anything. You just taunt, Fire Punch, taunt, Fire Punch, and you're going to slowly break it down. And you're also just a great, fast, versatile special attacker with Ice Punch and Thunderbolt. Pretty self-explanatory. I think Never Melt Ice is the best item to really, really nail it to Zapdos and to like really try to nail it to Zapdos and Salamence and Flygon with Ice Punch. But you can even run like Magnet to secure a Vaporeon matchup with Thunderbolt. Or you could just slap on leftovers and just, you know, just not try to mess up with anything. Or Pataya, yeah, just an all-out attacking Gengar. Gengar also has access to Giga Drain, has access to Psychic itself, which is cool. So yeah, it's a great all-out attacker. Next we got Wispgar, which this is an old set of mine that I think isn't as good because of some metagame developments we've realized, but like for example, you're not going to beat Shadow Ball Metagross, but this still should have its place because it's still a Will-O-Wisper that can beat things like Tyranitar. It can beat things like, it can even beat Banded Aerodactyl if you don't get flinched. Yeah, with Will-O-Wisp into Giga Drain, and it's just still a generally good Pokemon in general because once Pokemon like Metagross maybe stop running Shadow Ball or something like that, this can start to put in work again. Yeah, just an overall good set. I think this was EV to outspeed Metagross, rested special attack, and this lives 2 Meteor Mashes after Metagross is burned. Yeah, good set, good set. Let's go to the next thing with Gengar. This is a counter Gengar that I created. The idea is like Pokemon that are running a lot of ghost stabs, not stabs, but just ghost attacks. You can eat it up and counter, and because you're already really fast, you can just Seismic Toss on them. I didn't really know what to do. I think you have to go these two to be really good because your counters aren't that powerful, similar to Dusclops because of your low HP. Salac Berry just to outpace stuff when you get to low HP. But you can like, this is just what I would say is the guideline. Max defense, counter, and you can start to fill in the other moves with interesting stuff. Which is why, like, Gengar is still very viable. It's still a B+ Pokemon to me because it's still stupid versatile. Just like this Sub-Pataya set. You could go Sub-Pataya similar to Alakazam, except I think Gengar pulls off Sub-Pataya better because it's just has a much better defensive typing. Because the only Pokemon that's going to be hitting you with a Psychic attack is Alakazam, and Gengar was never ever beating Alakazam in the first place. Unless, like, Endure, Salac, Max Attack, Shadow Ball or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do that. That would be really, really nasty. You probably kill Alakazam, but I just thought of that right now. But yeah, just a Sub-Pataya Gengar. And then Cursegar. This is a cool set that I came up with. It's trying to be a fast, bulky, like this Gengar should beat Zapdos and should probably beat a lot of other random stuff by just finessing it with Curse, turn 1 into Protect, Resto, Chesto, Seismic Toss. I haven't really tested a lot of matchups with this, but I think it could be nasty. It's just another way that Gengar can be versatile. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, the reason that you could run All-Out Attack Gengar over an All-Out Attack Alakazam is that Gengar has the defensive typing to be able to live a lot of neutral hits, unlike Alakazam. And, like, I'm pretty sure Gengar is just straight up bulkier than Alakazam on the physical side. Yeah, 60-60, which isn't amazing, but it's much better than 55-45. Like, much better once you start investing in stuff. Yeah. I think technically more especially bulky, but I don't really know. Anyway, whoopsie. Let's move on. So that's Gengar. Now we got Gyarados, my sub-flail set. This is a set that I created for, oh, shoot, I just kind of so if you're facing a counter Blissey, this HP means that they can't break your substitute with Ice Beam, if I recall correctly. or Regice or something like that. Basically, this is very good against Blissey. And unless they have Thunderbolt, I guess. But what it also is, it's like similar to Salamence, except what it does better is it has Flail, which is very, very powerful. And it just has a different typing. Like, you're not weak to ice moves like Salamence is, but you still have Intimidate. You're not as weak to I mean, it's pretty much just ice moves, I guess, because Salamence's defensive typing is technically better in every other way except the dragon weakness. But the only Pokemon that's running a dragon attack is going to be like Salamence itself, maybe Flygon, maybe Kingdra. I don't know. Dragon types offensively suck. Like Dragon Stab just really, really sucks. But yeah, this is just the Lychee Flail set. But what I also think Gyarados can do is, I don't think this is the only set you should run. It does kind of carve itself a niche, but you could do like Taunt DD Earthquake. You could do Banned HP Ghost. You could still run something like Surf and be reliable versus Marowak, because Marowak can handle this set. But overall, Gyarados, the other big selling point of Gyarados is that it's a Dragon Dancer that's more reliable versus Marowak than Salamence. Because you, well, okay, I don't know, actually forget what I said there, because like Salamence and Gyarados kind of have the same sort of matchup versus Marowak, but like I think it's Marowak. Marowak can theoretically run Ice Beam if you want to be really quirky to try to beat Salamence super reliably, but and Gyarados I guess beats that, but I don't know, try out Gyarados, it's good. It's the best flail user in the tier. And you could of course run Band. You could go, I don't know, it's Thunderbolt, quirky stuff. It's a good Pokemon. It's also good in ADVOU, but it's not like amazing.
So maybe just a cable?
We can help you.
AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination.
Every day, I die over and over again.
Okay, next. Entei, a very cool fire type Pokemon. The only one with Calm Mind. That's kind of its main thing. It's fast. I mean, you could, of course, because it has Pressure Stall, you could do something like Substitute Protect, Rest, Flamethrower. That's honestly a viable option, like a mix-up for Entei, but I'm showing two sets that make Entei unique. But again, that's another reason why Entei is so good, because you can run those things. Like, its HP is so massive. To only go over to get 101 HP subs, I only need to invest 132, and it's fast. Anyway, yeah, Entei, Calm Minding Fire type, beats Metagross usually. Very good against Zapdos. Just beats a lot of things with Calm Mind. Nothing else to really say about it. You can run Sub here, and you actually handle Blissey, which is really, really nasty. Pretty reliably you handle Blissey, unless they are, unless they're Seismic Toss, which is pretty common. But you can beat some Blisseys with Sub, and you also become less crit proof with Calm Mind plus Sub and very massive substitutes. You can even run like Hidden Power Water here to beat Houndoom. That's kind of a quirky thing, and other Enteis, maximize that matchup. Yeah, you can do some things. You can do some things with Entei. Sleep Talk is a viable option. Really stick it to some things. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory why Entei can be good. And then I worked on this really cool Sunny Beam set, which carves another niche for Entei, which is nasty. This defense allows you to live, unless it's a banded Swampert, you're going to be living any Earthquake or Rock Move or anything like that and be destroying it. You're also going to be able to beat things like Vaporeon by mixing it up with Sunny Day into Solar Beam with Calm Mind, so that's really cool for a Fire type, because no other Fire type is going to be beating Vaporeon. And you still do the Fire type things like outspeeding Metagross and KOing it with Fire Blast. And this is also so another thing that makes Entei great is that you're going to be killing Registeel, because Seismic Toss is never breaking you down, and you're going to set up your Calm Minds and you're going to crit with one of these Flamethrowers. But if you want to be extra safe, Sunny Day, Fire Blast, Calm Mind also obliterates Registeel, especially the Spadef variant. That's also pretty cool with Entei. And then, I mean, another thing with Entei too is that, like, the Mon has 115 attack. You could go something like a Banded Double Edge set, Banded Body Slam, maybe try Banded Hidden Power Fighting, try to lure a Tyranitar. You could totally do that. Entei has the base stat total to make that work. yeah, maybe throw in a dig. I don't know. Iron Tail is not going to do anything, I don't think. Because there's no fairy types. So Iron Tail is just like a worse fighting attack, I guess. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, a good Pokemon. Band would also mix up Alakazam really well. That clicks Calm Mind turn 1. But yeah. Does this thing get agility? Or Scary Face, I guess? No, I'm very wrong on that. Honestly, yeah, maybe on like a Calm Mindset, you could just run like Body Slam as a last move or Double Edge and try to beat Alakazam. That'd be quirky. Pretty quirky. Okay. Wow, I'm yawning. Next, Ludicolo, another Pokemon I for some reason did not talk about, but it's very, very good. Unique typing, no other water grass types in the game. It is the father or mother of the legendary Lombra. Oh yeah. Okay, what it does really nicely is it has counter. The grass type with counter. This tanks anything Metagross can throw at you, so if a Metagross is running Sludge Bomb to beat Sceptile and other grass types, and then like, even if it throws on Hidden Power Bug for Celebi, Metagross can never KO a Ludicolo that clicks counter. So Ludicolo is very, very good against Metagross, unless of course, like, you know, they click sub. But you guys get those layers of depth. What this also does is really cool, is similar to that Seismic Toss, Leech Seed, Sceptile. With Seismic Toss and Leech Seed, you beat Registeel, and you even beat Regice, which is something that Sceptile usually cannot do. You beat Regice, which is really cool, unless they have Rest. But most Regices should not be running Rest, in my opinion. But you beat those sorts of things. And with Hydro Pump, you're going to be really, really reliable versus like Marowak. And you can beat Swampert even, if you run like Razor Leaf especially. Yeah, Ludicolo is a really, really good Pokemon. It can outplay a lot. It can even outplay Zapdos as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah. Next, we got this offensive Rain Dance set. I don't think this is very good, but it's the theoretical mix-up with Ludicolo, is that you go Swift Swim and you start hitting things hard after a Rain Dance, and you can tank a lot of hits because your defensive typing is really good. You could even slap Ice Beam on Ludicolo. I could see that being an idea. Toxic on Ludicolo. Ludicolo would be like A+ tier if it got Encore, because then you could go Rain Dance into Encore, and that would be a super duper cool strategy. But sadly, in Generation 3, they did not give this thing Encore. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, again, you can look at the different options yourself and come up with cool ideas like Swords Dance or some shit. I don't know. Some stuff. You can look at like Swords Dance and some stuff and come up with some cool ideas. So yeah, Ludicolo. It is a very good Pokemon. Very, very good. B+. Next we got Machamp. I think Machamp is the second best fighting type. Main reason being it has Encore. No other fighting type has this option. And Encore is just a really, really, really good move in ADV. So the idea of this is that like you just set up on things. Oh, what do these EVs do? I'll find out what these EVs do post editing again. I forgot, but they're good EVs. This is Earth Gurgle's like kind of ADV creation, is Encore Bulk Up Machamp. Let's go on to this. Okay. Yeah, fighting type with Encore, pretty self-explanatory. Powerful cross chops, guts, hidden power ghost. You're gonna be nailing Gengar. You're gonna be beating you're probably gonna be beating Dusclops unless they carry Psychic, which is a good option on Dusclops. And yeah, it's just, even with Encore, what else is cool is that with Encore you can even outplay, like it gives you an opportunity to outplay Sceptile pretty handedly, because you can Encore when they Leech Seed and then they're Dunzo. You can Encore on a Raikou clicking Substitute or Calm Mind and win. And then like if they try to click Thunderbolt, you can tank 2 Thunderbolts, I believe, and you could even like cross chop them. Encore just gives Machamp a lot of outplay options, and that's what makes this Machamp good. And then I came up with this band set, which is like just kind of the theoretical mix-up to Machamp, just a solid banded fighting type. Nothing much else to it. I forgot what this spread did. I am assuming it lives banded Metagross Meteor Mash. That's probably its biggest thing. Yeah. Okay, what is up, guys? We're back. I know it doesn't seem like anything happened, but it's actually been a 3-week break since I have recorded this part of the video. You know, I got a full-time job, been getting back into Super Smash Bros. Melee. I'm working like 45 plus hours a week, so I haven't really had time to do this, nor like the motivation to do it, I guess. But here we are back, and we are going to do the rest of this ADV 1v1 BKC-esque, is what I'll call it, Mega Guide. We were off before at Band Machamp, which is just a mix-up of Encore Machamp, but let's move on to the very similar fighting type in Hariyama. So this is the old scope lens set, the iconic set that I used in my video that popped off, 1,300 views. Check it out in the description. Yeah, and the idea is just to break past Stallmons without setting up alongside them with your own scope lens, focus energy, cross chop strategy. Like very, very high chance to critical hit with 3 stages raised, actually 4 stages, because this is already at a +1 stage. So you're almost guaranteed to crit, almost. Yeah, that's just the basic idea of this set. Should be pretty self-explanatory. Forgot what these EVs did, to be honest, but you can use them if you want. Then this is something that I created. I know, Chinese 5-spread EVs, 5-thing EV spread. And this was just an idea to think like, okay, so like, there's a lot of problems with the scope lens set. What can I make Hariyama do over Machamp? And I realized, well, it has thick fat. So what this kind of does with HP Rock is it turns it into a very, very solid Charizard, Typhlosion. If you use Typhlosion, it's kind of bad. Charizard, Typhlosion, yeah, those kind of mods answer. And also, it's just a general mix-up, because Band Hariyama, just like any banded fighting type, is going to do work. This counter set, actually, this is kind of nuts. This lives a banded Salamence hidden power flying. That's another big thing about Hariyama, is that Machamp, it is bulky with 90, 80, 85, but when Hariyama invests in defense, you become absurdly bulky, like a lot bulkier than Machamp ever could be with max HP, max defense, because it already has such a meaty HP stat, and you get a lot by investing in defense, which, as you can tell, this is literally like impish, so this could do work. And you could, of course, throw Hidden Power Ghost on here. You guys kind of get the gist by now. Hariyama can do a lot. You can also run Arm Thrust on this set to like fish for a lot of different crits, or to break through like a substitute Sceptile. That's an interesting idea. I see Belly Drum could do something fun, because honestly, Hariyama is probably a really good Belly Drum user, because it has a lot of HP. So unlike like when Dusclops cuts its HP in half with Curse, it really struggles because its HP stat is so low. But if Hariyama cuts its HP in half, probably still has a lot of bulk, but it is slow, so I don't know when it's ever going to be able to get that off, because like, it's not like it's going to be not 2-hit KO'd by something with 50 HP left. Yeah, how much more do we got, bro? We got a good amount left. We got a solid amount of Pokemon left, but let's keep going. Celebi. As you guys know, or as some people know, I used to be a hater of Celebi. I used to think it was just a worse version of Sceptile. I thought it was garbage, but I've come around to appreciate Celebi a lot more. And there's a reason it's this high. I mean, like, yes, there's a lot of Pokemon above it, but I think Celebi actually has a lot of opportunity to be even better, because, I mean, it's an all-around base 100 Pokemon. Anyway, the idea of this set, like, the Leech Stall set, is what Leech Stall Celebi has over Sceptile specifically is it has a lot more bulk, a lot more bulk. So you're going to be living a lot more hits. So with this HP, Metagross is never killing you with a Sludge Bomb or a Shadow Ball. Celebi's going to win. So that's a huge thing going for Celebi. Not only that, but because Celebi is also a lot more specially bulky, is that you're actually going to beat Regices that are lacking rest, which is kind of nuts, because they can't kill you with Ice Beam. So that's another big thing going for Celebi. You can finesse a lot more matchups than Sceptile can on the Leech set. A lot more sets that like I could see a lot of Pokemon crafting specific sets to like KO that Leech Stall Sceptile, but they're not going to KO Celebi unless they have the biggest bane of Celebi, is that literally any team can just throw Hidden Power Bug and Sceptile, and Celebi is donezo.
And yeah, so that is the biggest reason why I hated using Celebi before, is because a lot of people in the early metagame, when they thought Celebi was really good, slapped Hidden Power Bug on everything. So yeah, that's something that's bad for Celebi. Psychic, and yeah, also Psychic is very unique for it. I mean, like it's a stab option that Sceptile has nothing even close to, and you can of course still run something like Giga Drain on this set. Doesn't this thing get Nightshade? It doesn't get Nightshade, never mind. But I could see a lot of different moves that you could throw on this Leech Seed set. You could even throw Recover on there if you really wanted to go for that. I mean, that's an amazing option for Celebi. But yeah, this is a team. This is a set that I came up with to try to like have a mix up for Leech Stall. Subcall Mine Celebi. This is a Celebi that I wanted to be a Heracross answer, because another problem with Celebi is that it's sort of strong, but it's definitely not strong enough to KO a lot of the things that it wants to. You're never going to KO Heracross unless you run like 252 plus Modest, maybe like Twisted Spoon Psychic could kill it. But why not just use a sub Pataya set, because Substitute plus Pataya is always a great strategy in ADV 1v1. So yeah, sub Calm Mind Psychic. I forgot what these Spadef EVs did. I think this actually secured the Starmie matchup, which is something that Sceptile can struggle to do sometimes. Like Leech Stall, Sceptile is going to get bodied by Starmie, which is hilarious. But yeah, that's what this set aims to do, and you KO Heracross. This is a very, very, very good Heracross answer, unless they get like all of the 50-50s right with an Endure Salax set. So good stuff. And then obviously, Celebi has a good attack stat. You could totally run a mix-up with Band. You could do something like Shadow Ball on Band. This thing gets Ancient Power. There goes Charizard if you win a speed tie. Aerial Ace, you could run. Like, you could run Swords Dance Recover. Like, I definitely realize that Celebi has a lot more potential than I'm giving it credit for, potentially. So yeah, it's a good Pokemon. It is a good Pokemon. Yeah. Next, let's move on. Walrein. Super cool Pokemon that VG Jungle, who doesn't do 1v1 that much anymore, but me and him created this. The idea is that it's similar to Blastoise, where it's a water type that can actually beat Zapdos because it's so bulky and you just spam Ice Wind. Except Walrein really, really leverages that ice typing with Never Melt Ice and Ice Wind and Ice Beam, and you just blow past a ton of grass types and dragon types, mainly Salamence and D-Knight. Very cool. But the biggest selling point for Walrein, the only reason that I think it's viable, is access to the coveted move Encore. What this allows Walrein to do is it actually can shut down a lot of random stall matchups, such as like Dusclops, for example, is a really cool one. And just like, I think you guys get the point by now. Oh my gosh. Andrew Wong, very cool online music class. You guys should really join. Okay, hello. So now we got Walrein. Do I want this song? How annoying is this background? Probably not that annoying. But as you guys can tell by now, Encore is a very good move. I mean, like, let's just look at the VR so far. Who is, with access to Encore, has become really good. Alakazam is already up there with Encore. Is this the second Encore user? Oh, you'll see Encore maybe a little bit more later on, but like, that's a big thing for Walrein, getting Encore. It makes a lot of 50-50s that you wouldn't normally have. Problem with Walrein is that you can lose to things like Metagross, because you have that really annoying secondary ice typing, which means you're weak to fighting and neutral to Meteor Mash. And you're also weak to Rock, two huge physical ones. So it almost kind of invalidates Walrein's insane 110, 90, 90 bulk. But yeah, I think Walrein is cool. And like, again, versatility. Theoretical versatility, at least. Look at that. 80 attack isn't that bad. You could definitely maybe make use of Earthquake somehow. You could make use of something, I don't know, Charm, Rest, Toxic. I don't know. You could do a cool amount with Walrein, I think. But this should probably be the main set that you're using. This set with the Walrein, the Encore Walrein. Yeah. Next, let's move on to Regirock. I actually used to think Regirock was garbage. I thought there was no reason to use it over other rock types, but I'm now starting to really fully appreciate the power of Regirock. A big part of Regirock's viability is that it's so bulky when you invest in HP. Like, this HP in defense is absolutely absurd. this is a Pokemon that is weak to Meteor Mash, okay? The strongest attack in the game from a Band and Metagross, and with this HP, you easily tank Band, not easily tank, it's like you barely live, but you live a Meteor Mash from Band and Metagross and just can counter back. Obviously, they could click Psychic and all that jazz, but like, it's still a very good thing. This is a very, very good counter Pokemon, because very little Pokemon can just KO it. I don't think anything can. Maybe Metacham, I don't know. Yeah, and then also a Choice Band with Superpower. Having access to Superpower as opposed to Brick Break makes this a very, very good Tyranitar answer. No Taunt Dragon Dance shenanigans, no Banded shenanigans. You don't even have to click Counter on Tyranitar. You can just click Superpower. And not only that, but Superpower also makes this, you can beat Counter Blissey. You know, you can beat Counter Blissey. They can definitely go HP and defense and bulk it, but it's kind of hard to. Then you got Earthquake and Rock Slide. The reason that Hidden Power Rock I think is mandatory is I really want my Rock type to be super solid against sub Charizard. And if you run Rock Slide, you only have a 55% chance, I think, to hit all 5 Rock Slides when they sub, and then attack. You have to hit it 5 times, or else you're going to drop to... If you miss the wrong Rock Slide, you're going to drop to Hidden Power Grass twice. Like if they get the Pataya boost on the miss to Hidden Power Grasses, and you're done and you have no chance. But yeah, Regirock is just a solid ass Pokemon. Next we got Lefties. This is literally the exact same set, except you run Lefties and you can run Curse. You can still go Hidden Power Rock, Rock Slide. What is this one? Wait, what's after this? Yeah, Rock Slide, all that jazz. Superpower Earthquake. Just running Lefties on Regirock is also a good idea with Curse and Rest maybe. You become absurdly bulky. Too bad this thing doesn't get Amnesia. That would be kind of nuts. Or if Sandstorm. Imagine if Sandstorm raised Spadef in this game. That would be really cool. But yeah, other than that, I don't really think Regirock has any other viable options. I could maybe see a Toxic Protect set putting in work. But yeah, Regirock is just a really, really solid all-around rock type, and is actually in one of my samples, the sample with Celebi. So yeah, use Regirock. It's a good Pokemon. Next, Blaziken. Wow, Blaziken is a good Pokemon in theory. It's super versatile on preview. Like, it can do a ton of stuff. This is what I'd say is the most, like... I'd say this is the most standard look for a Blaziken. Usually you're going to be wanting to, you know, you want your fire fighting type to beat the steel type. And your Overheat isn't strong enough from the get-go to beat Registeel, so usually you need Sky Uppercut and Swords Dance to really mix it up and beat it. And this is just the power of Registeel and how much of a grip Registeel can have on the metagame, because, like, you know, if they click Rest on the Overheat and you don't have a way, like, I don't know. Basically, this is just a good set. With max speed, Sub Blaze Overheat is very nice. Also notice that, like, you know, like for example with Regirock, or that Hariyama, you know, Hariyama isn't going to lose to this Blaziken because Sky Uppercut is never going to kill it. And also Blaziken would then struggle with the Regirock because you're not going to kill it straight up with Sky Uppercut, therefore proving, you know, Regirock is a good Pokemon. But yeah, just a good set. This is just a solid set. I would recommend using this set if you want to start using Blaziken. Next, we got a big mix-up for Blaziken, which is Salac Berry. So, Endure Salac Berry, very nice Salamence lure, Banded Salamence. It can beat Flygon is another big Pokemon that it can beat. Yeah, that's literally all that it's hitting, because everything that you want to hit... I mean, like, you could try to hit flying types with Ice, but I don't think you're going to be killing anything notable. Maybe a Swellow, I guess. And then Endure Overheat, just to outspeed Pokemon that are generally faster. Maybe like a Banned Sceptile, maybe like a... I don't even know. I honestly don't even know what. But a big thing with this is you can run Reversal. And yeah, you can go this plus special attack, but you can also go plus speed and lure a Aerodactyl with Reversal. Problem with this, though, is that if you don't run Sky Uppercut, you're actually going to lose to Tyranitar. Which is kind of big. Yeah, hold on a second. I just had to wait for that song to change. Yeah, if you run Reversal, you lose to Tyranitar because you obviously don't kill it. They Earthquake you, you're dead. And you can't Endure because of Sandstream. Tyranitar is a good Pokemon. But yeah, Endure Salac. Lychee Berry, this is a kind of a cool idea. Idea is just a super duper powerful Reversal. So you can already see all the mix-ups that Blaziken can have. You have to, if you're trying to EV a Pokemon to beat Blaziken, you have to account for like a super powerful Charcoal Overheat. Like you could go like this. You could totally go like this. You could totally go modest Charcoal Overheat, and that would do a ton with sub. That would be stupid powerful. And Pitaya, you know, all that stuff. Hold on a second. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, Salak, and now you have the Lychee mix-up, which is Sub, Swords Dance, Reversal. Nothing specific that it beats, but it can beat a lot. And you can run Hidden Power Ghost on this to really finesse, like, Dusclops or a Gengar, maybe. Yeah, because maybe, like, a Sub Gengar can sub on the Overheat. All that stuff. Lychee's a good set. Nothing really... It's pretty self-explanatory there. And then you got a very cool band set. I forgot what this special attack did. This special attack KOs Metagross, most Metagrosses, because I wanted my fire type to beat Metagross, yeah. And then you just hit hard with Sky Uppercut, mix up people with Earthquake and Rock Slide. Yeah, you can already kind of see the theoretical versatility that this Pokemon can have. I haven't even explored all of it, I don't think. Like, you could do Sub Pitaya like I showed before. Yeah, just some interesting stuff. It has counter. I mean, like, 80-70 isn't that weak. Like, and 80 is a kind of a meaty counter. It's meaty enough to kill most of the things that you want. You could totally run counter on something and just, like, pump its defense for, like, some stupid hit. I wonder if maybe you could like... I don't know, maybe you could beat a Marowak with this. Like, you could just go, like, full-on bold, like this, click counter into overheat or something. I don't know, something crazy. You could do some crazy stuff with Blaziken. But the reason that it's not that it's not like I think I'm hyping it up more than it actually is because like once you tech something with Blaziken, you can lose to a lot of other things, and it's not like it's frail and it's not powerful enough on the get-go, and often you're like EVing in both attacks because you want to hit hard with overheat. It's not like you can just run Flare Blitz, and so it kind of sometimes leaves Blaziken even weaker than it should be because you're trying to EV in both attack stats. So that's kind of the big downside of Blaziken. There's definitely a reason to use the higher ranked fighting types over it, such as Machamp, Hariyama, and Heracross. Yeah. Next we've got Jumpluff. Credits to Boat, also known as Firewings99, for this idea. Before, Jumpluff would run Sleep Powder when Sleep Powder was legal. And that was a nutty set because, you know, without having speed, without having Choice Scarf, this thing outsped so much of the metagame and would put everything to sleep with Wide Lens. Which is now banned, by the way. Or, no, it's not banned. Well, I don't know if it is, actually. Hold on. I'll keep it in. LOL. ADV 1v1 cheerleader doesn't know if Wide Lens is banned. Anyway. Yeah, so it used to run Sleep Powder, Leech Seed, all that stuff, and then after that, when it got banned, I thought Jumpluff was pointless, but it actually has this really, really cool anti-stall set. So the idea is that this can sit in front of Blissey and Regice, hoping it doesn't get frozen by Blissey, of course. But, well, no, it doesn't actually matter if it gets frozen, because it's going to win anyway, I believe. But, hold on, I actually forgot that matchup. I think it beats Blissey, though. I think it beats Blissey. But you basically Leech Seed, Protect, Encore with leftovers, so you can shut down a lot, and if they don't attack you, you Encore them and you win, because you're going to be faster than most of the metagame. Not only that, but with Amnesia, this is kind of crazy, but Jumpluff actually, with moves like Amnesia, yes, it does beat Blissey, I'm now remembering, but it also 50-50s Pokemon like Charizard, because get this, if they Flamethrower turn 1, as you Amnesia, like, Blast Burn has a chance to not kill after the Flamethrower. And, Amnesia and Jumpluff can just start setting up Amnesias and then Leech Seed and Protect Encore and heal off all its health. So having access to Amnesia is another really cool part of Jumpluff. It finesses a lot of Pokemon. Like, yes, it beats almost everything that doesn't attack, but it can even beat a lot of things that do attack. Its matchups aren't fully tested yet, but just know that it does beat a lot of stuff, or like it can beat a lot of stuff. It's a solid Pokemon, but it's very like it's very linear in what it does, because like, let's say you have because it just straight up loses to anything physical, like a Marowak, a Salamence, Metagross, Tyranitar. It's also weak to Raikou still.
if they're max speed. If they're not max speed, I think Jumpluff can set up the amnesia on it, which is kind of funny. But yeah. So Jumpluff is a good Pokemon. Use Jumpluff. I mean, it's B/B minus, but like you can still use it. And now, boys, we have my favorite Pokemon in ADV 1v1 and just my favorite creation in any generation at all. Kecleon was not even thought of at all, zilch, in Gen 3 1v1 until I came up with it. The idea is you actually utilize color change and you beat the big three electrics. You beat Raikou and Zapdos you beat a lot of, basically you beat a lot of special attackers in general, because what you do is you click Trick to force them, even though you're slower, you're forced them into one move. And when the Pokemon is forced into one move on color change, you're always going to be resisting its hits, such as like water, grass, ice, electric, fire, all that stuff. The only exception is dragon. And what's cool about that is Kecleon actually has a ton of special bulk when you invest in HP, which is kind of crazy that this, seemingly garbage Pokemon can start to do stuff like that. So not only is it really good against special attackers, it also hits relatively hard with a banded return. 90 attack obviously isn't the best, but return gains stab, base 102, hits pretty hard. It's also a pretty solid Tyranitar answer with Brick Break. Because if the, well, not super solid, like banded Tyranitar can damage you with Brick Break and kill you. But if they're like a taunt DD set or anything else, you're gonna kill them with banded Brick Break. And not only that, but with Shadow Ball, you could secure the matchup versus Pokemon like Starmie and Dusclops pretty handedly. Well, not counter, but you trick the Dusclops, my bad. You trick it. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself because Kecleon actually does excite me quite a bit. The big thing with that is, yeah, cool, color change and the gimmick with that, and it's banded return, woo, you beat Zapdos and Raikou. But you get Trick and Rest. And very little viable Pokemon get Trick. In fact, let's just look really quick. Let's just look at what Pokemon get Trick. Because this is the first super viable Trick user that I'm showing off. You got Alakazam. Trick is really garbage on Alakazam. You should be doing better things. And then you literally got, like, Lanoon. That shouldn't be using Trick. There's no reason for it to. I mean, yeah, I guess you could finesse something because it's the move Trick, but not really. Grumpig we'll talk about later, but you really don't got a lot. You got Furret, which is obviously a garbage Pokemon. Like, it really shouldn't do anything. And then you got, like, Volbeat. Just use Shedinja. I guess Volbeat does have Trick and Moonlight. Not in Moonlight. But is Trick even a room? No, but yeah. It's not doing that much for you. But Kecleon, dude. Kecleon's the GOAT. Because with Trick and Rest, what's super cool, you beat Blissey. That's a huge thing. A physical attacker that beats Vaporeon. That's a huge thing. And it beats Registeel. That is a huge thing for a physical attacker that is choice locked, such as Kecleon. You don't have to worry about counter. You don't have to worry about iron defense. You trick away, you give it a band, and you gain leftovers. That's the huge thing. You take away leftovers from Pokemon. So yeah. You can also, I think, the only big mix-up that I can think of compared to my set is I think there is some use in going a lot of defense and finessing things with counter. I think there is a good thing that Kecleon can do. Sadly, even though it has an amazingly cool moveset, it's kind of hard to use with its special attack garbage, but I think when everybody's idea of Kecleon is the same thing, you could use that to your advantage and like start to do finessing stuff, like maybe run like a max speed sub Kecleon. Just do some fancy shit. Kecleon is cool. Next, Medicham. A fighting type that kind of falls behind the other fighting types, mainly because, like, yes, while it theoretically is the most powerful fighting type, it doesn't really have the unique coverage or things to leverage it. So this is the kind of the big niche that I came up with for Medicham, is a bulk up recover set. Recover is the big thing. It has access to recover. And not only that, but it doesn't have to run. Well, another thing that I think Medicham has going for it is that it is a fighting type that doesn't need to run Hidden Power Ghost and then sacrifices another Hidden Power. So yeah, you have this cool bulk up recover set. This is supposed to be a fake Marowak answer, and like you could finesse a ton of other stuff. As you can see, it's super defensive. and Recover is really nice for it, but it's so frail, so it's hard to use. I think the big thing that you should be using with Medicham is Choice Band. Choice Band Focus Punch is ridiculously strong, like absurdly strong with pure power. Nothing tanks it. Shadow Ball is huge. High Jump Kick is huge. What did Hyper Beam do? To be straight up with you, I forgot what Hyper Beam did. Oh, I think Hyper Beam was to kill other fighting types. Yes. So I was trying to make Medicham kill other fighting types with a Psychic, but that wasn't working. But you can just kill a ton with like Banded Hyper Beam, I believe. But yeah, Medicham should be leveraging the fact that it is the most powerful fighting type with Banded High Jump Kick, which is a stab option that other fighting types don't get. And it's a lot more accurate than Cross Chop. But you can run Shadow Ball, and then you could throw on Hidden Power Bug when you're afraid of Celebi, Hidden Power Flying for Heracross, Hidden Power Rock, maybe, I don't know. You could do a lot with Medicham. It's cool. But again, it kind of falls flat compared to the other fighting types because of the big thing is it's very not bulky at all, and the Psychic type doesn't give it much. Like, yeah, it allows it to like tank Alakazam easier because you're neutral to it. That is pretty big for a fighting type, I will say. But other than that, it just makes you have a ghost weakness, which a lot of Pokemon run ghost coverage, and it hurts Medicham a lot. And it's not quick enough to kind of leverage it, but yeah. And then I came up with, Sub Reversal set. This is a pretty nasty set. You couldn't even run... Does this get Swords Dance? I forgot. I don't think it does. Yeah, no, you have to run Bulk Up. Yeah, you could totally do this with Medicham. Sub, Bulk Up, Reversal, Shadow Ball. You're going to hit with the most powerful Reversal in the game because it's Lychee Berry and has pure power. So yeah, Medicham is still a good Pokemon, I think. I think it's still a good Pokemon. It's just often I find myself wanting to run the other fighting types over it for their unique purposes, such as, Heracross being Heracross, Machamp being a lot more bulky, having access to Encore, and Hariyama having Thick Fat and the mix up with that, and a lot more HP and defense. And then Medicham's just kind of there. But again, Medicham hits the hardest out of the bunch. I'm repeating myself. Let's move on to Tauros, another boat creation. It's a cool Pokemon. It has a good speed tier, 110, that's Jump Fluff speed tier, and it hits hard. This is for beating Metagross, I believe. Yeah, it's a really fast and powerful normal type. It is a good Pokemon. The problem with Tauros, though, is that the problem that Tauros runs into is that with an Intimidate Pokemon, which is huge, by the way, having Intimidate is really, really big. The problem is that often with Tauros, you want to be running Bulk to tank hits with Intimidate. You want to be leveraging its 110 speed, but you also want to be hitting hard at the same time. And so you're often left with these kind of weird spreads where Tauros here really is not going to be hitting that hard. Like, this is going to be an Intimidate Mom that is still losing to Salamence while it's faster than Salamence. Which is tough. But yeah, I still think Tauros is a good Pokemon. I don't really have much else to say about it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You could totally go sub Lychee. With Intimidate, you're going to be getting a lot more attacks off, so you could definitely finesse some sequences where you like attack something, tank a hit, gain Lychee, attack again. That's a pretty cool idea with Tauros, but yeah. Tauros is a good Pokemon, but kind of falls flat in a lot of areas. And now we got Jirachi. This is a set that Crucify came up with, I believe. So here's the thing. Jirachi is extremely good in ADV OU, like maybe a top 5 Pokemon. It's starting to get really good in ADV OU with that Spadef Fire Punch set. It can do a lot in ADV OU because of Serene Grace, Spreading Paralysis, Calm Mind, all sorts of stuff. The problem, though, is in a 1v1 format where all of its qualities need to be hyper focused on something, Jirachi really does fall flat, and here's why. Often, it is like without Hidden Pyre fighting, you're going to be losing to Tyranitar one-on-one, and you're a Steel type. You're a Steel type that's losing to Tyranitar one-on-one because you don't have a good Steel type stab attack. That's the difference between Metagross. As Metagross is Meteor Mash, notice all the viable attacking Steel types. It's just Metagross. It's literally just Metagross. So yeah, hold on. Let's go back to Jirachi. Yeah, so But so Jirachi, it struggles a lot in a vacuum where it has to beat something one-on-one. That's the big thing. It just sucks a lot. If you can go and explore yourself, I've explored many times. A lot of calcs are just really sad. But this is a cool niche set that someone came up with. The idea is that with Icy Wind and this amount of bulk, you have to run this amount of bulk to actually beat Salamence, by the way. You can't 2-hit KO with Icy Wind. Okay, that's cool. Hidden Power Fighting so you don't lose to Tyranitar. And then Calm Minded Thunderbolt. So you are going to be losing to things like Metagross as a faster steel type, which is annoying. Like here's the thing, you can't just run like faster Fire Punch because it's just not going to be powerful enough either. All the elemental punches are only 75 power, and special attack is good, but it's not like it's not world beating at 100, similar to Celebi, except Celebi has that grass stab. That's why I think Celebi is overall better. But yeah, I think I explained Jirachi enough. It falls flat in a lot of ways. I made this Choice Band set a while ago, trying to maximize Body Slam, Shadow Ball mix-up, Aerial Ace mix-up, Hidden Power Fighting to beat Tyranitar. Yeah. And then a Sub Slam set. This is just a nasty set that I came up with. What if you just went super defensive Jirachi with leftovers? You subbed up on stuff, you Body Slammed stuff, you paralyzed them, and then you started Psychicking them down. Serene Grace, but Death Drop is pretty big, all that stuff. So, yeah, I think, but I do think Jirachi is still good because it has so much theoretical versatility. Like, sub Lychee, sub Pataya, I don't know, you could do so much with Jirachi because it just like in ADV OU, it is Jirachi. It is Jirachi, and with Serene Grace Body Slam, you're going to be doing a lot. It's just that it falls so flat against so many of the tier's best Pokemon, such as Marowak, Registeel, Zapdos, Salamence, Metagross, Raikou, Tyranitar, Dusclops, Blissey. Even Sceptile, you just Leech Seed on it. What is Jirachi going to do? You're not going to KO Sceptile with anything, really, so you're just dead. Unless Doom Desire goes through sub. I don't know, I haven't really explored that. You struggle against Heracross still. It just, when you really look at its matchups, it falls flat versus a lot. Which is kind of sad, because Jirachi should be a good Pokemon, but yeah. Next we got Jolteon. I used to be very high on Jolteon until I realized that Pokemon can start bulking for its hidden power grass. The idea is that with fast sub-toxic, you're going to beat any non-rest Raikou and Jolteon and Zapdos. So it's very good at being anti-electrics, but not only that, the biggest selling point of Jolteon is of course, its speed. Its speed is nuts. But not only does it beat the electrics, it's also going to beat Alakazam, which is huge. I think it's one of the only special attackers, besides like Houndoom maybe, that just destroys Alakazam. Like you're not going to win against Alakazam, or you're not going to lose. You literally just Thunderbolt twice, and Alakazam can't do a thing about it unless like Alakazam runs like a super duper Spadef set, like super duper Spadef, and tries to Calm Mind Recover on you. But it's honestly not worth it. And so that's what makes it really good. And also, you do beat Swampert the moment that it doesn't bulk for your hidden power grass. Because Jolteon shouldn't be that popular, but it is popular because I used to spam it a lot. Yeah, Subpataya, Toxic, and Finesse a lot. And yeah, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. That's just what Jolteon does. Also, speed ties with Aerodactyl, which is nice. Yeah, it's anti-BS in its own way, but like it's also still really, really weak and really, really frail. So you're usually only going to get one hit off, and you can try to substitute into Pataya, but like so many mons are going to bulk your hit, such as like Ursaring is going to bulk your hit. Heracross is often going to bulk your hit. Stuff like that. And it's kind of rough. And you're going to drop to things like Banded Brick Break and all that jazz. Yeah, it would be cool. I'm getting tired of talking so much. It would be cool if you could like run Double Kick and actually kill Tyranitar. I already checked, does not kill. Banded does not kill. Yeah. Jolteon's okay. It definitely has a niche place. Next, we have Miltank. Miltank's a pretty cool mon. Honestly, this set is kind of whack. You can use this, but this is very like this is admittedly very hyper focused on like my sets compendium. But I think honestly just going like this is perfectly fine. You can even throw Adamant on there. You're a Miltank, you want to hit hard. 80 attack is not very hard, but I didn't even talk about Miltank in the first place. Hold on a second. Let me go back to Miltank. Miltank. Thick, fat, normal type. It does not get scrappy in this generation, I don't think. Wait, does it? Wait. No, it... What? Does it actually get Miltank? Oh, it does get scrappy, I guess, doesn't it? What? No, it doesn't. That's a lie, right? I totally forgot this thing gets scrappy. I don't think it does. Does it? I don't know. Just use thick fat. That's a big reason to use it. You're gonna beat Charizard. That's a huge thing. You're you're a physical attacker that beats Charizard. But also you just are like an overall fast, relatively bulky, normal attacking Pokemon. Kind of like Tauros. It's like Tauros, except the thing that it has over Tauros is, yeah, you can run these physical attacks. You can even run Hyper Beam. You can do a lot with this, but it also has Milk Drink, which is what you guys were probably thinking in the first place. A Curse Milk Drink set. Or Defense Curl Milk Drink is a possibility. But yeah, it has a nice mix-up with Curse Milk Drink. I forgot what this EV spread did, to be honest. I think this is supposed to be anti-Metagross, but it is a very good Pokemon. Like, I think overall, the more fancy people start to get with Pokemon, the better Stall becomes. And especially an overall really, really bulky, cursing, milk-drinking Miltank with Body Slam. It's going to paralyze you. It's going to hit relatively hard with Earthquake. It got Leftovers Recovery. Yeah, Miltank is a cool Pokemon, I think. It's like, it has a very good mix-up in Band and Curse and Milk Drink, and it can stall a ton of stuff out. I think it's cool. It's a good Pokemon. Use Miltank. Next, we got Typhlosion. The main reason to use Typhlosion is that it has a better matchup versus Regice than Charizard does, as Charizard can lose to Regice. And if you really, really think that the opponent is going to use Counter Blissey, honestly, I'm going to replay that song again. That was so good. Gallery, Not You Again. Can you guys see this? Look at this. This is a great song. You guys should check that out. Anyway, let's just play this again. This is too good. Wait, what's next on the playlist? Yeah, a bunch of okay stuff. Let's just keep playing this. What was I gonna say? Typhlosion, yes. If you really think your opponent is not going to run Counter Blissey, you can Seismic Toss Blissey. You can run this and you turn into a Blissey answer because they can't break your sub with Ice Beam. But as I said before, Blissey should often be running Seismic Toss. Hopefully I said that in this video. I forgot. Maybe I didn't say it 3 weeks ago. But like, use Seismic Toss over Counter most of the time. You're going to beat Raikou and a lot of other stuff. But Counter, of course, still has its place, which is what makes Typhlosion have its place. Biggest problem with Typhlosion is that obviously you are not above the air, so you're going to drop to Marowak very, very hard. And you're definitely not strong enough to kill it. Well, no, I mean, you are. With, like, Endure. If you run Endure, you could totally lure a Marowak with Endure Blast Burn. That is a thing. But, like, you should be using Charizard most of the time. The other thing that I think Typhlosion has going for it, though, is that it's less, similar to... Did I already go over Dodrio? Did I really not go over Dodrio? Okay, I'll talk about it later, but it's kind of similar to the Dodrio versus Gyarados comparison in that, what Typhlosion has over Pokemon like Moltres and Charizard is that it's not 4 times weak to Rock. And a lot of Pokemon can run, like, Surprise Rock coverage, or Surprise Fast or Hidden Power Rock coverage and KO Charizard, but you're not going to KO Typhlosion, such as, like, Sceptile, for example. You could run Flamethrower over Hidden Power Grass or over Focus Punch, and you could be a very solid Sceptile answer. And that's what Typhlosion has going for it as well. But most of the time, please use Charizard. Typhlosion kind of sucks. Next, we have another creation of mine, which is Lunatone. Lunatone is sick, dude. So Lunatone, man, I guess I just like making low BST Pokemon viable. I mean, like, look, we got Kecleon. Oh, did I forget to close out this side chat during this? I kind of did. Whatever. You guys can see people talking about I don't even know what. Kecleon 440, Lunatone 460. Not the best BST wise. But what it does have is great typing defensively. So with Levitate, you're not weak to fighting, ground, or rock. That is huge. That you resist all of those, and you're not a water type. And you also resist flying. That's another big thing. And so what Lunatone really does is that, well, first of all, as a rock type, you're going to be beating a lot of the fire types, such as Charizard, Typhlosion, Moltres. But another huge thing is that you beat Salamence, because you just resist everything I can throw at you. Yeah, maybe it can hit you with a Banded Iron Tail. That is somewhat scary, but not really. Lunatone has very cool coverage in Psychic Ice Beam, and it's surprisingly bulky after Calm Minds. I swear, 70, 85 might not seem like a lot, but after some Calm Minds and some Rusts, you're going to be resisting a lot of hits. Oh, and another big thing I didn't even realize, you're resisting normal. You resist normal, ground, you're neutral to fighting, rock, you resist flying. It has a very good typing, surprisingly, in this metagame where, like, you know, the physical special split it doesn't exist. So you're going to be beating a lot of Pokemon, surprisingly. A lot of Pokemon. But of course, you know, you're still a Lunatone. So, like, you're still going to be losing to a lot as well. Because, like, you know, it is Lunatone. And Psychic type, it means you're weak to Heracross. You're a Psychic type that just gets bodied by Heracross unless you really want to gamble and you go, like, max speed or whatever. But you want this Spadef to reliably beat Zapdos is a big thing. Unless they're Metal Sound Zapdos. Which is just stupidly rare and should not be ran, in my opinion. But yeah, so Lunatone does Lunatone things. I would recommend trying it. It is a very fun Pokemon. Respect the moon. Next we got Scizor. This is a Pokemon that I definitely slept on, but then talking with the other people that somewhat play this metagame, even though it's pretty much only me, I realized that Scizor has a lot of potential versatility. The big problem with it, of course, is that you're weak to fire, but fire, like, the fire types that are... Here's the thing with Scizor that I kind of dig about it. Scizor is like a steel type, similar to Jirachi and Metagross, but it's kind of like, yo, if a fire type is running fire type coverage to beat Metagross, I'm going to admit that I'm just going to lose to fire types, and I'm going to maximize my other qualities. That's the kind of the idea of Scizor. Like, and its other qualities are that, like, it is neutral to ground and fighting, which is huge, very, very huge. Especially with good HP and defense, you're gonna be beating a lot of fighting and ground types potentially, and you have a good attack stat. The problem is that it doesn't, even with its high attack stat, the difference is that, yeah, 130 that matches Metagross, I believe, right? Right, you match Metagross. Okay, you're a little bit weaker than Metagross, but the thing is that Metagross has Meteor Mash, you have Hidden Power Steel, or, like, whatever you use, Metal Claw. Scizor isn't using its Steel Stab, really. I mean, Steel Wing, woo, but, like, what if this thing had Meteor Mash, you know? Meteor Mash. Oh my gosh, what's the base power of Meteor Mash? 85 or some shit? Don't swear, kids, don't swear. It's pretty powerful. 100! I totally underestimated. 100, that's a huge difference. Yeah. Why did I think it was less than 100? What the heck? Yeah, so that's what Scizor can do. But Scizor, it also has Swarm, which is a better ability than Clear Body often, besides Intimidate. And it has Quick Attack as well. So basically what this set aims to do... Man, dude, I'm really going BKC mode, just talking, and I just gotta get to the point, but... Whatever. Anyway, this is Scizor. SD Quick Attack. You're gonna beat Raikou. Huge. Hidden Power Bug. You're not gonna be losing to, Actually, you know what's funny? I will admit, this set actually does lose to Sceptile. You gotta go Banned to beat Sceptile. That's kind of funny. But, yeah, Hidden Power Bug is cool. It's a unique stab option. And with Swarm, you could finesse a lot of things. Steel Wing is still cool. I recommend trying Scizor. Hopefully I explained that well. I'm talking a ton. I'm talking a lot, but hopefully you guys like the vibe of this video. Okay, let's keep going. Sub-Reversal. Okay. Whew. Sub-Reversal. This is a Dom set. Idea is that Metagross doesn't get Reversal. Scizor does. You throw a little bit of speed in there. You start KOing stuff with Lychee Reversal. Not only that, but you have Lychee Swarm, Hidden Power Bug, and Aerial Ace, so that you can beat Heracross, which is something that Metagross can struggle to do, actually. Like, yeah, that's another thing. You could totally, like, drop Steel Wing here, right?
You could do this. You could totally run Aerial Ace into Quick Attack. No Heracross is going to beat you. None. None. No Heracross is going to beat you. You don't need a Steel Wing, honestly. Yeah. That's another thing, too, is that, like, here's another thing that Scizor has over Metagross, if you can imagine a potential matchup, is Regirock. Regirock clicks counter. Okay, you just set up on it. And Metagross doesn't have any way to set up its attack. The best way that Metagross has a chance to beat Regirock is either Banded Psychic or you run Subgross. Did I have a Subgross set on here? I talked about it before. Subgross can finesse a lot in my opinion, but yeah. Where was I? Yeah. So that's a cool part about Scizor as well. Let's keep going. We got Band Scizor, just maximizing its coverage. What did I have here? Hidden Power Bug, Silverwind. Yeah, so you can run Silverwind. Silverwind is actually cool because you could totally get a full stat boost. But Hidden Power Bug is just kind of like really nails it. Like, man, I'm hitting you hard with Scizor. Also has access to counter. So you could see like Scizor is very versatile. Scizor is very versatile and it is a good Pokemon. Problem is that Metagross just does a lot more, a lot easier. And Metagross can actually eat some fire attacks and Scizor, you're just not going to do it. Now let's talk about Moltres. A Pokemon that I totally threw under the bus before, especially in my last video. I realized it has something as a Pressure Staller, okay? So it's a Pressure Staller. It's the only Pressure Staller with instant recovery, which is pretty big. So what you could do is you could totally substitute Protect on stuff. Let's say a Kecleon clicking Return. Or not Kecleon, this is going to lose to Kecleon, I believe. But like a Pokemon that are clicking like weak attacks to break substitute Protect strategies. And then you just Morning Sun on it. And you can then start substituting and protecting again. And Moltres is not that, it's not that frail. 90-90 is pretty good, especially when you bulk it like this and have some speed. And you still have the power of Flamethrower Moltres. So this is still going to beat things like Metagross, assuming that you don't catch a Rock Slide turn 1 or something like that. But you could just protect turn 1 and scout it, unless they're running non-banded. But those are insane levels of depth. But yeah, it's a Pressure Star that has access to Morning Sun. That's what you got. Next, Offensive Moltres. What I like about this Moltres is it's a fire type that doesn't lose to Registeel. That is the biggest bane of ADV 1v1 is Registeel. Probably should be banned, but I want to do a tournament to see if it really should be banned and just to kind of see the meta with Registeel right now. But yeah, Fire Blast into Overheat, no Registeel is living. Spadef Amnesia cannot handle a Fire Blast into Overheat. It's just not going to. And this really leverages Moltres' quite insane 125 attack stat. I mean, like, look at the other offensive fire types that we're using. Let's look at Blaziken. What does Blaziken have? Like, I don't think it has close to 125. 110. Let's look at Charizard. Charizard has, like, what, 109 or something like that? 109. Typhlosion has 109. Entei I already talked about, I believe. Where's Entei? Entei has 90. Houndoom has what? What is Houndoom's? Not that high. 110. Moltres blows all of these out of the water with 125. So you can really leverage that and go this offensive set with Fire Blast and stuff. And Hidden Power Grass. You're going to be stomping Kecleon as well, which is unique for a special attacker. And you can, of course, still use the substitute overheat strategy. Hold on, we got another. Do I just replay this song again? It is pretty good. No, let's go to this one. I'll show it off. Gotta give these guys credit. Check out this channel, by the way, Gaz. This is good stuff. Good disco, good background music. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys, but I dig it. I think it's hot. Anyway, yes, offensive Moltres. Good Pokemon. Moltres is good. Moltres still does Moltres things. And you could, of course, still run Will-O-Wisp like the ADVOU set. Yeah. And if you want to learn a little bit more about like Moltres' overall qualities, you should check out BKC's Rise of the Phoenix, a really good video about Moltres' rise in ADVOU. I really like that video. Let's move on to Venusaur. Another hard creation of mine. I mean, okay, I should stop saying that because a lot of these are my creations, but like, this is Venusaur. So what I came up with Venusaur is when I realized, or other people realized that Charizard was nuts. They realized that, where's Blastoise? Blastoise was nuts, and I was like, yo, what about Venusaur? This thing gets Frenzy Plant. Sceptile doesn't get Frenzy Plant, and for sure, Venusaur has that quality of it. Venusaur is a lot more solid versus Marowak than Sceptile is because it has an instant super powerful attack in Frenzy Plant, which Sceptile wishes it could have. Frenzy Plant 150 is like almost, it's literally more than twice as powerful as anything that Sceptile can hit it with right away, which is what? 70. It literally doubles it and more. And that's what's really cool about Venusaur. It's a very instant, like, bam, I'm gonna Frenzy Plant you kind of Pokemon, man. And with Substitute and Overgrow, you can hit, and with Matai Berry, you're gonna hit with like absurdly powerful Frenzy Plants. Problem is that it's not super duper fast, so it can't hard leverage that. And a lot of Pokemon resist grass. Flying types, steel types, fire types, a lot of Pokemon resist grass. So it's not as useful of a stab option as like Blast Bird or Hydro Cannon. But it still is a very good Pokemon. And not only that, but it's a grass type that beats Sceptile very easily by just clicking Sludge Bomb. You see this, it's still modest, 0 attack. You just Sludge Bomb that Sceptile and Sceptile can't do a thing about it. Can't do a thing. And with this EV spread, I made this EV spread so that you don't lose to Starmie, because I didn't want it losing to Starmie. This is admittedly hoping that the Starmie doesn't have Psychic. But, yeah. I mean, if you think the Starmie has Psychic, you actually tank a Psychic and you can Frenzy Plant turn 1. But your play should be to just spam Giga Drain. Yeah, so this is it's a cool set, but obviously some big problems of it are the Poison typing. You are still going to be neutral to ground, which is notable. You're also not ever living like Salamence. I mean, you maybe can, but like, you know, you got Salamence is a problem, Alakazam is a problem, and you're not getting a lot of more important matchups that Sceptile does. Like, for example, you're never beating Zapdos, you're never beating Raikou, and you're still kind of hoping that the opponent isn't a stall Pokemon either. But, you know, I do think one thing with Venusaur, though, is that it does have access to a powerful Earthquake. You could run something like that. You could still run something with maybe Synthesis and Leech Powder and Leech Seed. Not Leech Powder. Leech Seed. So you could still like mix it up as a grass type overall. I think there is some qualities of that with Venusaur. But yeah, that's Venusaur for you. Next we got Armaldo. Armaldo falls behind a lot of the other rock types, such as you know, Regirock, Aerodactyl, Tyranitar. But what I think Armaldo's the two big selling points of I think there's in general 3 big things that Armaldo has. For one, it is a rock type with a very good Marowak matchup. It actually does. You can run some speed to outspeed Marowak, and with its unique bug typing, you're going to be finessing Marowak. Unlike Aerodactyl, sure, it has an okay Marowak matchup, but like, you know, look at this. I mean, like, all these banded sets are losing. Yeah, Pressure Stall wins, but that's not as common. But what Maldo does is it resists, it is neutral to Bone Ring. So you have a nice Marowak matchup overall. It's not guaranteed, you have to EV it specifically, but it's pretty good versus Marowak. Secondly, it is a rock type that you are just destroying Sceptile with Hidden Power Bug. And Alakazam. So you don't have to worry about like Barrier Alakazam or Leech Seed Sceptile. You're just gonna KO both with Hidden Power Bug. So it's a very like, yo, I'm going to destroy you, Zapdos, especially with Rock Blast. That's another big thing. With Rock Blast and Hidden Power Bug, you're like, I'm just going to destroy both of you. I don't want to worry about anything. And the third thing that is very unironically good is its ability Battle Armor, which means that when you do use Armaldo to check a Pokemon, you could be 100% certain that it's going to win because of Battle Armor. This means that, like, yeah, I mean, like, you're just, like, for example, you're not going to get crit by the Sceptile Leaf Blade. Armaldo is a very, like, safe Pokemon is what I'd call it. It's a very safe choice, but when you go with that safety versus certain Pokemon, you lose out on a lot of other matchups because, you know, Armaldo isn't, like, absurdly strong. I mean, what's its attack stat? Like, 125 is great, but it's not, like, world-beating. And it's very, very slow, which means you're always going to be getting hit. And often you're not going to be KOing stuff, and you're going to be getting 2-hit KO'd yourself, which is the biggest downfall of Armaldo. But, you know, it does have access to knockoff, like an ADV OU. Maybe you could make use of that somehow. I don't really know. Yeah, maybe.
You could maybe go like the anti-Snorlax set with like what is that, like Defense Curl or Harden, Rest Armaldo. That could be a nutty idea. I don't know. Swords Dance. You could do some shit with Armaldo, but it's B- for a reason. Next we got Flygon. So Flygon, in a nutshell, you should probably be using Salamence. Like, you should probably be using Salamence. Salamence's Earthquake hits almost as hard as Flygon's. And Salamence has Intimidate. Those are the two biggest things. And Salamence hits way harder. You got base 100 attack Flygon. Salamence has base 135. Huge difference. And it's not neutral to water. It's not neutral to grass. It does a lot more. And Flygon is like, kind of like is a casualty to Salamence. When Pokemon run Hidden Power Ice and Ice moves to beat Salamence, Flygon is also just thrown in that bucket, and Flygon suffers from that a lot. This is a unique set that I came up with Flygon. I was looking at Flygon. What can Flygon do specifically over Salamence? And I was like, yo. The big thing it has is a ground typing, which means that it's not weak to rock. That is a big thing. And I was like, what if I used a sub-Screech set with Toxic, a sub-Toxic set? This is a very cool set. What this does is you can beat some stall Pokemon like Vaporeon. You could beat like a Dusclops even. You can beat a lot with sub-Screech and Toxic and surprise people. And Earthquake. I forgot what these EVs specifically did, but know that this is a very cool mix-up set. I think it's just a cool set in general. Sub-Screech Flygon. And then of course you can still go band Flygon if you're really feeling it, I guess. But I think if you're going band Flygon, you really want to go adamant, because you really want to emphasize that it's hitting with a harder Earthquake than Salamence. Because I'll post a calc on the screen right now in post editing, I think, where I'll show that like what the similarities between a Jolly band Earthquake from Flygon and a Jolly band Earthquake from Salamence are. They're very similar. Stab does not give it that much when you have 135 attack. But so I think what you would want to do is really maximize how powerful Flygon's Earthquake could be. And then, you throw on Rock Slide, you throw on Hidden Power Bug to beat Celebi, and then on the last slot I had Gust, if you want to beat Heracross, I guess, and hope that it isn't Endure Custap. If you want to be super solid versus Heracross, you can run Fly, and hope that they don't substitute turn 1 and you lose. I think Fire Blast. Sure, go Fire Blast and lure a Scizor or something like that. And then another cool option, I suppose, is Dragon Claw. What Dragon Claw could do is... A big thing that I like about Flygon is that I really would want it to beat Regirock, which Salamence is never beating Regirock. And Dragon Claw can mix up counter, because, yeah, your Regirock is easily living Earthquake, and it's going to counter you back. So yeah, that's Flygon for you. Usually I'm just going to recommend using Salamence, but I think there is a night, because another thing that I have to emphasize is that Salamence, as you can tell, just has like way more potential versatility, like an absurdly higher amount of versatility with all these different sets, if you remember from the earlier in this video, or if you're like clicking around and stuff. I'd recommend watching the full video, but yeah, you can still click around and all that shit. Man, I am talking. My throat hurts. Let's go on to the only other dragon type you should ever use, because... actually, let's look at all the dragon types. Let's look at all the dragon types real quick. There's like 4. Kingdra. And Altaria. Don't use Altaria, please. This is a bad Pokemon. Do not use Altaria. Unless you find something genius, then I will be impressed. Let's go to Dragonite. Okay, so now the other thing Dragonite deals with. What do I do over Salamence, man? I mean, I'm a slower Salamence. I'm just as powerful than Salamence, that's true. But I'm much slower, and I don't have Intimidate. This is what I came up with for Dragonite. This is a unique thing. A big thing that I like about Dragonite, unironically, is that it has Inner Focus. What this means is that if you really want to be solid versus Aerodactyl, you go Inner Focus so you can't get flinched. That's pretty big. And what this set also aims to do is beat a good amount of the Pokemon that are trying to beat Salamence with Hidden Power Ice, such as like Sceptile, and a big one is Starmie. You go substitute Agility with Ice Beam Thunderbolt. This is kind of like anti-Starmie and other stuff. and also anti-Salamence itself, admittedly. I mean, you're anti-Salamence itself. So that's kind of cool with Dragonite, is that you leverage its access to moves like Ice Beam and Thunderbolt, which Salamence Witch could have. So this also means that you should be able to beat Vaporeon, and you have a lot more special bulk than Salamence. 91-100 compared to 95-80. It is a lot more. It is a lot more. So yeah, that is a thing that you could do with Dragonite. I put this surprise DD set in here. This is a Rosa set that they made. I don't really see much of a reason to use this, but you can try it. Like, you know, it's just the mix up on preview. Like, you know, I'm gonna use the special Dragonite and utilize its access to Ice Beam, or am I going to make you think that I'm using a fancy Dragonite and really I'm just using a worse Dragon Dance? I'm really just using a worse Dragon Dance Salamence, and it's just gonna be sub DD D-Knight, or I could even go ban D-Knight. But it's like, it's honestly just kind of like, just use Salamence. Honestly, just use Salamence. But there is like, you know, there is some reasons to use Dragonite, I suppose. Next we got Arcanine. This is a creation by Dez. I needed a third on a team. If I can find the team, I'll show it. Let me go on my browser version. Hold on a second. I can find it here. Can you guys see this? Maybe you can't. Actually, I'll go like this. Here, let's go to Team Builder. Go to Gen 3 1v1. Where is it? There it is. Here it is. This is the team. I'll copy, paste this. Let's go back to here. Let's X out of... No! I didn't mean to do that. Shoot, I X'd out of my music. Gosh darn it. You know, I'll keep this in, though, in BKC style. I feel like when people watch his videos, they kind of like the fact that, like, he doesn't edit out stuff, so it feels a lot more natural. Let's go to Cabrillo Mango. Oh my gosh, not a Grammarly ad. We'll just put this in while I explain. What? I didn't copy just that? Oh my gosh, bro. Okay, skip ad. This is a great song, by the way, Cabrillo Mango. There's a fly in my room, bro. I gotta clean my room, I will admit. I very much so have to clean my room. There are some flies in here. Yo, piss off. Okay. Control copy the whole thing. No. Save. Okay, holy cow, that took a while. Let's look at this team. A little bit of a mix-up, huh? Okay. So, first of all, let's just look at the set. This is Arcanine. The main idea is that you're another fire type, okay? What Arcanine has going for it, let's revisit the part here. Let's look at what it does. So what it does is it is still a fire type, right? And it's, you know, it's the classic sub Pataya overheat fire type, like a lot of the other fire types are doing, like Typhlosion, Charizard, Moltres. What was the other one? I mean, you can do Houndoom, Blaziken, a lot of stuff like that. What Arcanine has is two things. Obviously, a big thing is Intimidate. Intimidate is pretty big for a lot of things that you can't really even calculate. My gosh, no. For a lot of things you can't even calculate, Intimidate is huge. But with the biggest thing with Arcanine that I found, or that Dez found, is that it's a fire type that can beat Salamence, which not a lot of fire types can do without running very specific things. All you do is you click Hidden Power Ice turn 1. It's going to kill. If they are Dragon Dance, sure, you still have Intimidate, so you're better than Dragon Dance, okay? And you Hidden Power Ice, and you can E-speed things to pick them off. And what I really like about this as well is that, like, E-speed is another huge thing that Arcanine has. It's basically just a fire type that has Intimidate and E-speed, to be straight up. And E-speed can help it pick off a lot of different matchups, such as, like, it has a better Alakazam matchup with E-speed. You can hit really hard with E-speed, even with the minus attack nature. And yeah, it does a lot of cool things like that. And I think with Intimidate, there's a lot of bulky sets that could be explored with Arcanine. And so you might think all this is good, but the problem that still makes Arcanine like fall flat behind other fire types is that you gotta be like it doesn't have a lot over the other fire. It doesn't like E-Speed is cool and Intimidate is a great ability, don't get me wrong, but when you're weak to ground and rock, you're not beating a lot still. Like you're not gonna beat Aerodactyl often unless you run a super bulky set. Tyranitar is still gonna eat you up. Yeah, I mean Salamence doesn't anymore, but Marowak is still gonna eat you up. You're still gonna be weak to the fire, water types and all that stuff. So it's like Intimidate doesn't give the fire type that much, especially when like, yes, you intimidate the Machamp, but like, how do you kill it? Like, yes, this special attack and flamethrower. If you run flamethrower, it's not gonna be doing that much damage. And Hariyama has thick fat, and so when you look into the details of it, Arcanine falls flat versus a lot. But it was cool on this team that I made where I needed something that could handle Metagross a lot better instead of hoping that it was banded and clicking counter with this Ludicolo. I needed something that could beat Metagross, which this fire type does, but also handled the terrible Salamence matchup that this thing had. And that's what this fire type did, a fire type that beat Salamence. Yeah, so it is cool, it is still cool. So I think it should be explored more, because doesn't this also get Morning Sun, if I recall correctly? Maybe it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Never mind. I'm wrong. But yeah, I even used a Choice Banded set in my Classic run when I was newer, and I thought that Choice Band Arcanine was good. It's honestly just a worse Blaziken, but yeah, there's some mix-up potential with Arcanine. Cool Pokemon. Next, we have Shedinja. Holy crap, you guys. I spent like, I think with this one dude, I forgot who it was. Might have been Adam. I spent like an hour optimizing this thing. I had to come up with so many different ideas. We were thinking like Lepa Berry, all these different things, and we finally figured out that this is the most optimal Shedinja set. So this is the best metagame for Shedinja in all of the 1v1s. In all the other 1v1s, there's too many mixed coverage, there's too much coverage, too many things to calculate, and it really struggles. Also, I'm gonna replay this song because it's too good. If you guys want to see the song. Oh, is it not gonna show? Is it not gonna show? Okay, fine, whatever. But it's Cabrillo Mango by COEO. Great song. I will link it in the description, of course. Anyway, so what this does is obviously Shedinja, Wonder Guard. If a Pokemon cannot hit you, you are going to win. That is it. And a lot of Pokemon can't hit Shedinja often. You obviously have to guess, but there's a lot of Pokemon that just don't hit Shedinja, and Shedinja can finesse a lot of matchups because of that. But not only that, but with Swords Dance and Hidden Power Flying, Return and Spite, this specific set with Scope Lens, that's important, you are going to destroy Registeel unless they can hit you super effectively. Use Swords Dance, Swords Dance, Swords Dance, Hidden Power Fighting, you are going to crit once, and if you're going to crit once, like you're pretty much guaranteed. You have 24 hits, and your critical hit ratio is raised by 1, you're going to crit. This also breaks past things like Raikou and Zapdos unless they're banded or crunch. And you beat a lot, especially with Spite as well. Spite is cool for when Pokemons try to rest, such as like a Vaporeon. You beat that. It really does beat a lot of stuff. It honestly does. Like for example, just like random stuff like this. Done. GG. But yeah. And I think this is the only set that you should be using. The only other thing that I could see Shedinja going for, but you lose a lot of matchups, is you can go Choice Band with Hidden Power Bug and try to be a Sceptile answer. But Sceptile can actually tank your Hidden Power Bug, so that's like a big thing. Like you would think that this would be good with Return, and then you can run Metal Claw or Fury Cutter. Yeah, it's rough. It's interesting. And yeah, also Shedinja beats Blissey. That's pretty big. Sadly, doesn't get Trick. That would be kind of nasty, but yeah. Yeah, so hold on one second. Let me pause. Okay, where was I? To answer some stupid texts. Okay. I think I ended at Shedinja. Shedinja's cool, but obviously, like, you guys know how Shedinja works. Okay, next, Dodrio, a cool flail Pokemon. So
It's the only other like big flail user that I could think of besides Gyarados, that's kind of its main thing is flail. But the Drio should pretty much only be using flail, no band. I mean, maybe banded Hyper Beam could be cool, 110 attack, but like I don't know, I don't really see, because I don't know what else you'd run on it. Maybe you could run a banded set with hidden power fighting, actually, now that I think about it, but that might be cool. I don't know. Yeah, that actually could be cool. Anyway, Dodrio. What does Dodrio have over Gyarados? Well, much more solid Marowak matchup because your flail hits stupid hard with its stab flail. That's the biggest thing. It's stab. That's huge. And it's also a lot more reliable at getting a 200 base power flail off than Gyarados because it's just quicker. So that's another big thing it has. I think agility is cool with Substitute because it allows you to outplay Starmie, which is often a counter to Gyarados. And another thing that Dodrio has over Gyarados is, well, A, it's not 4 times weak to Electric. So it doesn't just get finessed by Pokemon running Thunder Punch, Thunderbolt, or Hidden Power Electric, such as like Regice. You're just going to sub up on Regice and you're just going to flail on it. And if they don't attack you, cool, you just Drill Peck and you're going to be doing a solid amount of damage because, I mean, Drill Peck is a really nice stab option to have where you don't have to run Hidden Power Flying and or Fly. So that is very cool with Dodrio. And Quick Attack, having access to Quick Attack is really cool because it allows you to have a much better Sceptile matchup. I mean, Gyarados pretty much secures that, but like Sceptile matchup and also Custap Heracross. Not Custap, Salac Heracross. So yeah, Dodrio's cool. And literally as I was just recording that, I just thought of Choice Band. Choice Band could actually be nutty with like, yeah, I don't know, like, I guess you'd run like Drill Peck, Hyper Beam, obviously, Hidden Power Fighting for Tyranitar, and maybe throw on a Sky Attack in there. I don't know. It's kind of interesting, actually. But yeah, so it's a problem is that without the water typing, you lose out on a lot of matchups, and Gyarados is, of course, overall just going to be a more solid Pokemon, kind of similar to ADVOU, but I would recommend trying out Sub Flail Dodrio. Next, we got my Lodic. Hold on. Yeah. Now, what did I just click there? What did we have before? I don't know. This is my Lodic. So my Lodic is, of course, always going to be a good Pokemon. You know, you could, of course, just run like a Recover set with Surf and Ice Beam. But what I like to think of it as is it's kind of like similar to Armaldo versus other rock types in that Milotic is somewhat of like a safer Vaporeon is the idea. Because not only is it faster than Vaporeon, but you're going to be getting like, you're going to be a lot more bulky, a lot quicker. So like, let's say versus a Metagross, like it's kind of like you rest, you Sleep Talk, and you Surf, and you can have Ice Beam on there or something else like Toxic or Reflect maybe even if you want to be super safe. And you're going to be super duper safe versus a lot of physical attackers. As opposed to Vaporeon, which can be finessed a little bit. It's a lot more finessable than Milotic. And Milotic loses out on a lot of matchups by trying to be safer with Rest, Marvel Scale, Sleep Talk, where your defense is just absurd and you're going to be stupidly bulky. Even like if you run, and of course if you run like Recover or something like that, you're just going to be stupidly bulky. Like this is almost impenetrable by physical attackers, as opposed to Milotic, as opposed to Vaporeon, which I think is a lot more crit prone. Yeah. Because if I recall correctly, the crit is not going to ignore Marvel Scale. So yeah. So that's kind of the idea behind Milotic. And then I came up with this crazy light screen set. To be straight up with you guys, I forgot what this did, but I kind of made it as like a way to feel like, okay, Milotic has light screen, Vaporeon doesn't. Maybe a light screen Recover set with Surf and Icy Wind could be cool. I straight up forgot what these EVs are for, but you can explore Milotic a bit more. It does have Mirror Coat, which is somewhat cool, I guess. Like, if you really want to try to outplay Zapdos with Icy Wind, with Ice Beam and Mirror Coat, like Ice Beaming on the subs and the protects, and then you Mirror Coat at the right time. But yeah, this is a crazy set that I came up with, but I do forget what it did. I did forget. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so Milotic is okay. It's kind of a worse Vaporeon though overall. Next, we got this crazy Porygon 2 set. So the overall thing with Porygon 2 is that similar to Milotic, it's usually just a worse version than Blissey, because Blissey is a lot more specially bulky. It has Serene Grace, which is huge for freezing, and it has access to counter and Seismic Toss, which this Pokemon does not have any of those. Has no options like that. But the idea of this set, this conversion 2 set, which is actually pretty cool, I will admit, is that you change the user's changes type to resist the last move used against it. So this can be used to, let's say, beat like a Gyarados that clicks anything. And even like, so what's cool about conversion 2 is that even if like, let's say like a Salamence or a Gyarados uses Dragon Dance, if you go conversion 2, 100% you turn it to a steel type, which is kind of funny. And like against banded users, you can use conversion to just resist the last move they used, instant recover, and start breaking it down with Thunderbolt. Or you could even be extra nasty and just use Thunder Wave and just like make an extremely annoying overall Pokemon. Like, I just think that in general, yeah, like just a recover Bolt Beam Porygon 2 with Thunder Wave, you could probably finesse a lot of teams that try to get fancy, because like even without Eviolite, Porygon 2 is relatively bulky. Recover is an amazing move, and you hit harder than Blissey with Ice Beam and Thunderbolt. Well, not really, because on this set you're investing in defense, but like in theory you could. There's this mixed band set. This is a nasty set actually. It's still, you want to have Bolt Beam coverage to beat the things you want to beat. It's funny because this is a plus special attack banded Pokemon, but you know, I guess that's just how it goes. This is the beat Vaporeon. And you know, Trace also beats Jolteon, I guess, but like, you know, Blissey was already beating Jolteon. You know, I guess like with Trace, now you don't like lose to Flygon, but then again, Blissey tanks Flygon and KOs with Ice Beam. So that's the kind of thing with Porygon 2, is Trace really is not that useful. You would wish Trace Intimidate and worked, but in this generation, when you Trace Intimidate, you still get the ability to intimidate, but it doesn't lower the opponent's attack right away, which is annoying in a 1v1 format, obviously. Yeah. So yeah, you could run Shadow Ball. I mean, Porygon 2 has a solid attack stat, so you can mix that up. You can even run Tri-Attack if you want to go super hacksy and try to 20% freeze burn chance something. Unless is it 30? I forgot if it's a DT3 Tri-Attack. If it's 10. No, it still is 20%. And then I came up with this nutty set, which is just a banded fighting lure. It's pretty gimmicky. You endure Salac Berry, converse into a ghost type, and then you slowly break them down with return. That's the idea. Yeah. Kind of lame, but yeah. Porygon 2, honestly, just the worst Blissey. Next, we got Skarmory. So Skarmory is pretty bad, I will admit. It's kind of crazy, because it's like, it's so good in ADV OU, but in 1v1, it really does just kind of flounder. If Registeel gets banned, Skarmory becomes a lot better, because it's really, really outclassed by Registeel. You guys already know the kind of idea behind Skarmory, but let's talk about what makes this unique from Registeel. The big thing is that you are not losing to Marowak. You are going to beat Marowak. You just curse up on it, and Marowak can't do a thing about you, or Toxic it, Rust it. You're a Steel type that resists fighting and ground type attacks. That's the main thing. So the fighting and the ground type Pokemon that are trying to beat Registeel, why does it have Water Absorb? Skarmory is going to beat them. Problem is that when you add that flying typing, and you also can't boost your defense by +2 or your Spadef by +2, you're going to be losing to a lot of special attackers and just a lot of things that Registeel should have no problem losing to. And you can go Chesto Berry or Leftovers on this set. And then you can even maybe try Taunt. Taunt can maybe do something, but I find Toxic to be a lot more useful. But yeah, Skarmory pretty self-explanatory, but yeah. You could even go a Banded set maybe with Drill Peck or something. It does have Counter, which is pretty big, just like Registeel, but yeah, that's why you would want to use Skarmory. But again, you are going to be losing a lot that Registeel doesn't. Now we're getting to some of the, why does it have Rough Skin? Insomnia. You literally need Insomnia on that set. Hold on a second. Let's go back. Go back to. Oh, this is such a good song. I just want to play this again. Hopefully you guys don't mind. Hypno. This is a set I came up with. Kind of a nasty idea, honestly. So the idea is, with Hypno, which is cool, is that Hypno overall is still just a very, very bulky Pokemon. 8570, 115 is pretty big. And what the idea is that you click Skill Swap with Insomnia so that you cause other Pokemon to not be able to sleep, so they cannot use Rest. And then with Leftovers, you slowly break them down with Seismic Toss. That's the idea. You just Skill Swap, Rest yourself, and Seismic Toss. It's pretty cool, honestly. And then, what's another thing, though? I mean, you lose to Dusclops, which sucks, but then you can run Barrier. Barrier is cool to like try to beat like Curse Pokemon or Dragon Dance Salamence, but what I think makes it really shine is when you run Counter. And when you run Counter, you could just finesse a lot of things. Like, not only do you beat a ton of physical attackers by clicking Counter with a solid HP stat and maybe some bulk. Wait, why is this Lonely plus minus attack? Is this right? Hold on a second, let me check something. This seems off. This seems a little bit off. Was I really lonely? No, it was impish. Why does this show as... Yeah, this is supposed to be impish, my bad. This is the set. What the heck was I showing before? That's really weird that it was doing that. So yes, Leftovers, Chesterberry, Counter / Barrier. It's really just if you want to predict them to set up or you want to counter them right away. I think Counter is overall better, which is why it's listed first. And you'll tank anything from Metagross. And then you can Skill Swap, Rest, and Seismic Toss versus a lot of special attackers. Or you can literally just Seismic Toss a lot of special attackers, which is just really cool overall. Hypno is a cool Pokemon. It can do a lot. But it's gimmicky. Next we have this set. I hyped this up way too much in my first set of ADV 1v1 videos, which are outdated but could give you a general idea of the metagame, I suppose. It's literally just a Pokemon that has Encore, but the cool thing about this one is that it's the only Pokemon besides Sunflora, which is garbage, that can set up a move that makes them outspeed the opponent the next turn and then Encore them. So you kind of have to attack Victory Bell turn 1. Good thing for the opponent is that Victory Bell's ball goes 80, 65, 60, which sucks. But this thing still has its uses with Sunny Day, Hidden Power Fire boosted, Solar Beam. Yeah, you can beat like Tyranitar with Sunny Day into Solar Beam. It's still cool. It's still a cool Pokemon. Zapdos you usually beat. It is a little bit rough sometimes. Raikou is a little bit tricky. It's a tricky Pokemon to use, but it can do stuff. It's cool. It's still... Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just realized... I just freaking forgot about... Oh wait, why is it like this? Hold on a second, you guys. I gotta fix this. Let's fix this. Alt... I think this is... No, wait a second. Hold on. If I go like this... Oh no, it was like that. Okay, cool. We are redoing this. Okay, I don't know how I did this, how I forgot about these Pokemon, why they aren't on here, but they're two of the cool Pokemon as well. I'm putting this in the middle. I forgot to talk about Sharpedo and Poliwrath, which for some reason did not transfer over when I copy/pasted my compendium. Am I forgetting anything else? No, I just forgot to talk about these Pokemon. Let's copy paste what I have for them, because they're actually cool. So it's gonna cut out for a bit. Hold on, let's just go like this. New team, 2 Sharpedos and a Poliwrath. Very cool team. Let's do this. Oh my gosh, okay, so this is after the fact. Okay, so Sharpedo. Sharpedo's a cool Pokemon. Endure Salak has rough skins, so you, like for example, the idea of this is Salamence collects Brick Break, Endure, Salak Berry, rough skin takes down 1/16 of their HP. Unfortunately, it's not 1/8. and you Ice Beam them. And you can also finesse Alakazam, and you could do a cool amount of things with Sharpedo. It hits relatively hard. So yeah, the Salac Bear mix-up, but what I think is cool is Mixed Band Sharpedo. Oh my gosh, this is so sick. So I realized that Sharpedo hits really hard. 120 attack with Hyper Beam, you're going to be KOing a ton of stuff. And you can KO Heracross with this. Hidden Power Fighting lures the crap out of Tyranitar. Hydro Pump to beat like Marowak, that's huge. This hits harder. So like you can go Hydro Pump to really secure it, but this can beat a lot of non-spit up Marowaks. And then here you can even go Earthquake, maybe finesse a Blaziken. You can go, what did I have before? I had Crunch to still beat Alakazam and Dusclops. I think Sharpedo has unironically a lot of potential versatility. I think it's a very funny Pokemon. You can run Aerial Ace to really nail things. I don't know. I think it's cool. Well, what's funny about this is that with Hyper Beam, I forgot to say this. With Hyper Beam, you actually guarantee beat Heracross, and here's why. You Hyper Beam it, they click in, if they're Endure, Salac, which is the only thing that can win, really, or just Endure in general, Rough Skin will still cause a tie to happen no matter what. So you can at least force a tie, which is funny. Same thing goes for like an Endure, Salac, Blaziken. Hydro Pump, Endure, you force a tie with Rough Skin. Never mind, they can click the Fire move. But on Heracross, anyway, yeah. The Sharpedo's cool. Next we got Poliwrath, just an anti-stall with Belly Drum to beat Vaporeon and Blissey. Counter can finesse a lot of matchups. Max HP, max attack, pretty self-explanatory. Surf so that you actually beat Marowak. It's a cool Pokemon. Overall, pretty cool. You can run Hidden Power Ghost somewhere, maybe. Yeah. That's all I had to say. Just forgot to put these in the middle of the video, and let's continue on with the last sort of unviable Pokemon. Cool. Sunny Day Encore's cool. But this is starting to get into the unviable stuff, as you can see. And we're almost done. Holy crap. Okay. Now we go to Jinx. So Jinx is pretty much outclassed by Alakazam. However, here's the big thing that Jinx has, is that it has Ice type attack and it's Ice type stab, which means that you are going to destroy Marowak. No Marowak is beating Jinx. It's over. Especially Endure Salac Berry, which is probably, it should be its main set. Because you Ice Beam the Marowak, if they're for some godforsaken reason Endure Salac Rock Slide, which would be ultra terrible, but if they are, you just Endure yourself and you win. Unless they click Toxic. That would be nuts. That would be so hilarious. If they were Endure, Salac, Toxic, Marowak for Jinx. That would be utterly ridiculous. But you should never see that in your life. Yeah, and it's just kind of like an Alakazam that's trying to leverage that Ice coverage a lot better. Because Ice Beam is way more powerful than Ice Punch. Like 20 more power. And you have Stab. And you're modest. So that's the big thing with this one. And also access to Fake Tears is cool. The problem with Jinx, though, a huge problem with Jinx, is that you're slower than Salamence. So Salamence is just going to KO you unless you run this Endure Salac set. And they can, of course, just sub turn 1 and you're done. So it's an Ice type. It's an Ice type that actually loses to Salamence, which is sad. You can run Fake Tears to maybe finesse some matchups. I think Hidden Power Grass is cool just to be hopefully a Swampert answer. But yeah. And then I came up with this Fake Tears set. Yeah, Fake Tears, Ice Beam, Psychic, Hidden Power Grass with Never Melt Ice. You can also do some stuff. Yeah. I also came up with this idea before with a lot more defense with Thief, which is kind of cute. You Thief Marowak's Thick Club, and then you can Ice Beam it down. But that's just playing it way too safe when you can literally just Ice Beam it turn 1 and you're going to kill it. Unless it's Super Duper Spadef, which is hilarious. If it's Super Duper Spadef, you actually lose. Which is another reason why Jinx kind of sucks, but it has its uses. But usually you should just use Alakazam. Next we got Swagger Cheese Ninjask. Yes, Swagger is legal. This is the only Pokemon that can really use Swagger in my opinion. The idea is obviously you're faster than everything. You're a Ninjask. You substitute, get speed boost. You fish for misses with... Actually, I just realized something. Bright Powder is banned right now. Bright Powder is banned. It just got banned. So on this set, you would definitely run Lychee Berry, or you could run Lychee Berry. Or what I would maybe use is, hold on one second. Oh. Hold on a second, I'm checking something. Stay tuned. It'll be very quick, I promise. No, not this. I'm trying to check something. Yeah, so you can still run Wide Lens.
So if you really wanted to, no, not wide lens. No, what the heck is the move? Well, there isn't wide lens in this. Never mind. I'm dumb. On this, I would suggest either Lansat Berry. Never thought I'd say that in my life, but it is. I think Lansat Berry is an idea on this one. I think Lychee Berry is an idea on this. Lychee Berry is an idea on this. You could go Sharpbeak for some godforsaken reason, or what else could you run on this? I guess Scope Lens is just better than Lansat Berry, actually. Yeah, it's kind of weird. You could go White Herb for Intimidate, but yeah. Anyway, the idea is you substitute, or you swagger the opponent and hope to get a confusion. Then you sub Swords Dance HP Flying. Pretty garbage Pokemon, I'll admit. I had this on the Compendium before Bright Powder was banned, so that's why I'm kind of like scrambling right now. So you really shouldn't use Ninjask, but if you want to use a Swagger user and Swords Dance and HP Flying something, you can go for it right here. So yeah, it doesn't really have any other viable options at all. But yeah, then we got Swellow. Swellow is a very bad flying type, I will admit. I did use it in that one video to be funny. But yeah, you're better off using Aerodactyl usually. I don't even know why I have these two in here, honestly. They suck. But Swellow has the speed, so you can actually outspeed and KO Raikou and Alakazam and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, you shouldn't really be using Swellow. Let's move on to an actually useful Pokemon. I don't know why I have these here. Grumpig. I mean, Grumpig is still bad, don't get me wrong, but like, what Grumpig does is it's kind of like, it is the 100% best Blaziken answer in history, because you resist fighting, you have thick fat, you just Psychic it. Blaziken literally cannot win no matter what. It is utterly impossible. And yeah, and it's also just a Trick Rest Pokemon like Kecleon. What it has over Kecleon, though, is it's obviously a lot quicker, so you can finesse a lot more Pokemon that are using Sub as their Kecleon answer. And with Counter, you can beat Metagross, because why not? Yeah, so you can do a lot of cool stuff with this. Not only that, but I also think that Grumpig can have a potentially positive matchup versus Marowak, where you can run a lot more defense. And because here's the thing, Marowak is never going to Swords Dance turn 1 against Grumpig, right? Because you don't want to get tricked and then you lose. They're going to click Bone Ring. So theoretically, if you ran a non-trick Choice Band Grumpig, which would be nuts, you could counter turn 1 into Psychic or into Ice Punch and win. Because this does get Ice Punch. So that's kind of a nutty idea with Grumpig. And you can run Fire Punch, you could run Thunder Punch, I believe, right? This gets Thunder Punch, Taunt. Grumpig has some potential that I haven't looked into yet. Calm Mind. But just it having Trick Rest is just huge. It's another sort of Kecleon. It's huge. It's a cool Pokemon in that regard. But it's still very, very bad because it is Grumpig. It is very bad. But you can finesse some stuff with it. Next we got Raichu. This is a cool Pokemon. I came up with this idea. I was like, yo, Raichu kind of seems nutty because it has Reversal. And so what it does is this is basically Electric type that beats Tyranitar with Reversal, which is sick. And Blissey. And the cool thing about this is, of course, it has Encore, the very coveted move. And what it does with Encore is what should I finish this out with? This one. We're gonna finish out with this. Oh my gosh, I'm hurting from talking so much. Encore. Has access to Encore, very coveted move, obviously. And with Substitute and Fast Speed, if you don't attack Raichu turn 1, you're probably going to lose when it has Thunderbolt. So you can do Substitute, and you force it to attack, and then you Reversal and kill things with Lychee Reversal. Cool Pokemon. Beats Tyranitar, beats Blissey. Lots of cool stuff. And with this can also actually finesse Registeel, which is hilarious, because if they don't click Seismic Toss, you could just win. If you run Seismic Toss over Thunderbolt, which would be nutty, you beat Registeel. But you should probably be an electric type that, you know, beats Gyarados, beats Blastoise, stuff like that. That is pretty useful with Thunderbolt, and you can even run Volt Tackle. Yeah, I'm kind of rushing because I have 2 Pokemon left. But yeah, Raichu is cool. It's not super duper viable, but
Substitute Reversal Encore is a cool set on it. It can beat a lot, but remember that its reversal is still relatively weak because my spread has this attack. It's non-stab, and you only have 90 base attack, so you're not going to be hitting a lot. But you know, static, sub, reversal, encore, Raichu's cool in that regard. Next we have this Breloom set. This was on this team that I had a while ago. To be straight up, I don't remember what the EV spread does, and Breloom kind of sucks because while you want to be a fighting type that beats water types can just run Ice Beam and you lose because you don't have a physical grass type attack. But, you know, Breloom can still do some stuff with Breloom. Lastly, Lanoon. The powerful Spadef Belly Drum set. Man, I forgot what this did. You can beat Raikou and Zapdos because the idea is you need... Well, I think Silk Scarf is the way to go. But, the idea is you belly drum, you hope to live a single hit, and then you kill something with extreme speed, hyper beam, or shadow ball. That's the idea with Lanoon. You just pump its bulk and hope to kill something, which you honestly can't because +6 stab, hyper beam, and the power of extreme speed is going to kill a lot of things, admittedly. Like you could go like extreme speed into hyper beam, maybe kill something. And also, you know, Lanoon has the mix up of like being able to run trick and band. But usually like, you know, like you're going to be attacking Lanoon turn 1 anyway, so like, I don't really know why that's useful, but holy crap. Yeah. Alrighty. Holy crap, I just talked a ton about ADV 1v1. Wow. That was a lot. That was a lot of talking about my favorite metagame. I don't even remember what I said in part 1. That was 3 weeks ago, but I hope you guys enjoyed this absolute colossal video. I don't know if I'm going to split it up into 3 videos or 4 videos or just put it in one giant video like BKC did for his ADV OU sets guide. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys out. Maybe this is a good sleeping video. But yeah, I hope to see more development in this metagame. I think it's super cool. Expect a tournament to be coming out soon. You know, challenge other people in it, get it hyped up. I think it's an awesome metagame, and I love it. I think it's so cool. It's so cool to me. And I really appreciate you guys for watching. If you got this far, or if you're skipping around looking for sets, I just appreciate it all. Appreciate all the support. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, share this video. I put a lot of work into this. I put a stupid amount of work into this compendium a month ago when I didn't have a job. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.